Okay, so hello. Good evening, guys. So, it's nice to see you, ano? So, kumusta naman dyan? So, I hope everybody is doing well. As well as, hindi lang well, ano? As well as doing fine na rin. Okay, so for this afternoon or evening pala, ano? So, for this evening, ang i-discuss natin sa inyo, ang ipapa-webinar natin ay yung concepts ng working capital management. Okay, so working capital management is pagdating sa CMA exams, this is part 2, no? Ay part 2 section B. Okay, section B under the topic financial management. Ayun. So again, first and foremost, welcome ano. Welcome dito sa webinar natin on working capital management. This is offered to you of course by Rio. So, Rio Online Review. So, for now, meron na rin tayong CMA review. Yesterday na nagkaroon tayo ng official launching. So, this is already the second day of, ito na rin yung second day ng ating launching. So, official launching. Okay, so guys, medyo similar to yung diniscuss kahapon, ano? So, sa capital budgeting. Marami rin tayong pag-uusapan ngayong gamin to. So we have, for us to fully understand the concepts of working capital management, medyo maluwag kasi ang coverage ng working capital management, not just in the CMA exams, but also in the CPA board exams. Please take note guys na kasama rin to sa CPA board exams natin. So it's also part of financial management. So ganito kahaba, no? Ganito karami yung di-discuss natin sa inyo. So first and foremost, you must have a bird's eye view of what is happening with the field of finance in the area of asset growth, kung bakit kailangan natin magkaroon ng financing, so how to manage the working capital. Okay, kahapon diniscuss sa inyo ni Sir Karim yung discussion ng CapBud, which is actually yung kapatid ng working capital management. So for us to fully understand yung link ng working capital as well as capital budgeting, we must fully understand the nature of the asset growth. So makita natin dyan yung may future prospects ba yung company, nag-improve operations natin. So ano yung mga qualitative analysis or interpretations na makuha natin doon. Then after which, papasok na yung financing strategies natin, which is the 3 types of working capital policies. So dito natin makikita ang risk-return trade-off ng company in relation to financing its working capital, the sources of financing, the blend of its, yung blend ng financing strategies niya. So dito natin makita yan. As well as kasunod, we will now dig deeper. Isa-isay na natin to kasi basically pag sinabi nating working capital, it is management, anong composition niya. We have your current assets as well as the non-current assets. So meron tayo nito. Meron tayong management of cash, management of marketable equity securities, and then eventually we also have the receivables. Of course, kasama rin dito sa current assets natin IC, merchandise inventory or the inventories. So marami tayong pag-uusapan ngayong gabin to. And then aside from that, since this is working capital, ibig sabihin nun, kailangan ko rin i-discuss sa inyo ang short-term financing. So for short-term financing, I'll give you yung mga pinaka-concepts na kailangan ninyo, what are the logic for each formula na kino-compute mo. So guys, yun yung magiging approach natin for this evening, puro logical analysis, conceptual analysis, at saka what are the reasons behind those equations. Yun ang titignan natin. So we try to do away with simply memorizing your equations. So okay, no, for every equation, there's always a logic behind. There's always a reason kung bakit ganun yung equation mo. So yun ang titignan natin. So next, so kahit yun na mapulot mo this, at yun yung mapulot ninyo for this webinar, masaya na ako. Okay, fulfilled na ako sa objective ko ng next 2 hours. And then we will also present to you the sources of financing. So sources of financing natin, meron tayong the unsecured as well as the secured sources of financing. So has something to do with collateral lang naman yun, ano? So but basically, pag tinignan natin yung financing cost natin, it's basically the same. Parehong-pareho lang yun. So secured tsaka unsecured, ano? So iba rin yung insecure, ibang kwento rin yung insecure. Okay, so guys, simulan na natin. Dig deeper tayo, ha. Guys, again, what is important is yung concept, okay? Please absorb the concept behind each discussion. Yung discussion natin is medyo, visual, pero please absorb the concepts behind. Okay, so guys, ito tinatawag natin na stagnant. This is an example of yung composition ng assets natin. So our assets is always composed of, di ba, sa financial accounting, meron tayong fixed assets, tapos meron din tayong fixed assets or the non-current assets, and we also have the current assets. So if the behavior, pag ang behavior ng asset natin is asset growth is this one, it is stagnant. So ano ibig sabihin ng pag stagnant? Pag stagnant simply means kawawa naman yung company. It's no longer growing. Simply stated, what will happen to your company pag nag-stagnant ka? Pagdating sana sa product life cycle or sa business life cycle, nandun ka na sa may bandang maturity stage, eventually decline and going death ka na. So if this is the ito yung behavior. If this is the behavior of your asset growth, magdalawang isip ka na. Okay? So as early as na, pag ganyan yung asset growth mo, it's better for you to look for other business ventures na lang. However, bihirang-bihirang mangyari ito. Ang gusto natin mangyari is this one. Okay guys, ito gusto natin mangyari. This is an example of a growing. Nag-i-increase yung ating behavior na asset growth. So we now have, ito na yung breakdown ng ating assets. So ito pa rin yung non-current assets natin, pero nadagdagan na tayo ng permanent current assets. Okay, so aside from that, nagkakaroon na rin tayo ng seasonal current assets. So ito tinatawag natin na growing yung kanyang asset. Bakit nga ba kailangan natin mag-increase ng asset size? Okay, so guys, maraming reason yan. So number one, ito na guys, magtatapos na ako ng concept sa inyo ha. Okay. Ang number one na reason kung bakit kailangan natin ng asset growth is number one, because sales is gradually increasing. Pag ang sales mo nag-i-increase, isa lang ibig sabihin nun. You need additional inventories. So if you need additional investment in inventories, so with that of your receivables, eventually receivables should also increase. Tataas din yan. So pag tumaas din ang receivables natin, eventually other related assets to sustain operations is also needed to increase din. So simply stated, para ma-sustain natin yung growth ng company's assets, we have to sustain the company's increase in sales. I mean, dapat ma-sustain din natin yung growth ng financing natin. So asset growth goes with the increase in sales. So ngayon, syempre, di ba? Basic accounting equation. Ang basic accounting equation is assets equal to liabilities plus capital. Tama? So if your assets are increasing, it simply means there's a corresponding increase in liabilities or capital lang yan. Okay, ganun lang yon. So ngayon, bago tayo umutang, normally ano muna gagawin natin? Ang gagawin natin is we have to increase our assets to the use of equity through retained earnings muna. Tama? So simply stated, nag-i-increase din na assets natin because of increases in retained earnings brought about by operating activities. Okay guys, technically, ang tawag natin doon, sustaining growth rate. Okay? Matandaan nyo sa long-term financing ninyo, di ba sa long-term financing, meron tayong sustaining growth rate. Pag nag-compute tayo ng cost of equity financing using discounted cash flow models, that is dividend, di ba? Dividend at the end of the previous year times 1 plus the growth rate. Tapos divided by market price per share plus the growth rate. Guys, yung growth rate na yon, sustaining growth rate na yon, is the growth rate that the company can increase in assets without the need for external financing. Yun ang relationship niya sa pinag-uusapan natin ngayong gabi nito. So related siya dito, yung sustaining growth rate na yon. Now, it's just a matter of ano kaya ang gagamitin na financing strategy ng company. Okay? Which will bring us to, ito tinatawag natin na working capital policies. The working capital policies will boil down to the source of financing on how to finance paano finance yung assets ng company. So, ito na siya. Yun ang tinatawag ngayon natin na working capital policy. So, guys, be careful. Pag sinabing working capital policy, this is more, hindi lang siya hindi to limited sa short-term financing lang, no. So, when you say working capital policies, it already includes yung strategies niya to include the long-term sources of financing. Kaso nga lang, dito sa working capital policy, concentrate lang tayo sa trade-off between liquidity and profitability arising from the sources of short-term financing. So it's a working capital positive refers to the level of current assets invested to attain a desired sales level. So yun na, no? So increasing sales level. Tapos later on, guys, alam nyo, pag nag-dig deeper pa tayo dito, makikita natin ang price earnings ratio. O medyo malayo na to. Price earnings ratio, tinignan mo, no? Price earnings ratio between two companies. Isang company, napakataas ang price earnings ratio niya. Yung isa naman, mababa yung price earnings ratio niya. Ano indication nun? Okay, qualitative interpretation is the company with the higher price earnings ratio has a better growth rate in the future. So, kaya as early as now, habang mababa pala yung earnings ng company, investors are already willing to purchase at a very high price for future prospects of profitability. So guys, ganun ang mag-interpret malalim. Hindi lang babaw-babaw, no? Okay? So malalim. That's management talaga. So aside from that, it is now what? Basta working capital policy, it's now a concern between, ito yung binabalance natin dito guys. The working capital policy, the three working capital policy has something to do with management of the risk, profitability, and liquidity. Ganito kasi yan. Okay, in general, there's always the risk-return trade-off. So meron tayong risk, corresponding profitability. Simply stated, ano sabi? The higher the risk, the higher the profitability. Okay, correct yun. The lower the risk, the lower the profitability. Okay, so tama yun. Yun nga lang, may trade-off. The trade-off between risk and the associated liquidity. So what happens sa working capital policy? So working capital policy, if you want to be profitable, gusto mo maging profitable, you sacrifice liquidity. Okay? Pero if you sacrifice liquidity naman, you're increasing your risk naman. Tinataas mo yung risk mo. On the other hand, if you want to be liquid, mas gusto mo naman yung mas liquid, what do you do? You're liquid but you will sacrifice profitability naman. Okay? So liquid ka, mababa naman yung risk exposure mo. So yun. Ang question ngayon dito is, pag ikaw isang financial manager or isang managerial accountant, you are now trying to strike the balance between profitability and liquidity while managing your risk. Okay? Ang galing ng trabaho mo, ano? Bigat yan. Okay? So sa totoong buhay, that is what? Crucial sa crucial sa financial stability ng isang company, including its financial position. Okay? So guys, ito na yung three types of working capital policies. We're now trying to balance yung liquidity and profitability and associated risk. Okay, so ito siya. So first and foremost, so guys, these are theoretical theoretical kasi concepts to. Pero syempre, mamaya itatawid kita. So ano kaya naman sa totoong buhay na? So aggressive or restricted. So pag sinabi natin aggressive or restricted, companies that adopt aggressive working capital policy tend to have very low level of current assets. So mababang current assets mo, ibig sabihin nun, mababa rin ang short-term financing mo. Mababa short-term financing, it simply means mababa rin ang working capital. Now, because of that, what happens? Because of this, you are what? Konti lang utang, di ba? Konti lang utang natin. Pero, since konti yung utang mo, mababa yung financing cost. If financing cost is very low, what happens to the overall profitability of the company? It would increase. Kaya very high yung profitability mo. But in contrast, what happens? In contrast, you're exposing yourself to what? Liquidity risk. Bakit nga ba liquidity risk? Liquidity risk dahil konti lang yung masyadong mababa yung ating current assets. Ito, mababa yung working capital. It's easier understood pag nakita mo siya sa graphical representation. Sa graphical representation, ganito itsura ng this is what is known as the aggressive. Ito si aggressive. Pansin nyo guys, di ba? Tindi niya, ano? Konting working capital. Ayan, konting-konti lang. Tuso. Okay, tusong-tuso to. So, simply stated, working capital, you're exposed to very high liquidity risk. Mataas ang liquidity risk mo. Pero profitable ka naman. So, yun. So, that's known as, ito tinatawag natin na aggressive or restricted. Now, ano naman yung extremes niya? Ang extremes naman niya is conservative. What is conservative? Pag conservative naman, mataas ang very high level of current assets. So guys, logic lang yan. Pag mataas ang current assets mo, it simply means you have to borrow short term. Kailangan mo umutang. Since kailangan mo umutang, tumataas yung ating financing cost. If financing cost will increase, ito na yan, okay? If financing cost will increase, interest expense will increase, what will happen to net income? Net income will decrease. You are sacrificing profitability. Sinacrifice mo ang profitability for you to become liquid. Ito yon. So thus lowering profitability or ROI. Pero, you're liquid naman. Pag liquid ka naman, yung exposure natin sa risk. So you want to attain liquidity. Since you are liquid, you are now exposing yourself to very low levels of risk. Okay? So anong type of risk yon? That's a liquidity risk. Okay? So pag pinesent natin to sa graph, ganito itsura niya. Okay, ganito itsura niya. Short-term financing. So marami tayong short-term financing, sources of short-term financing. So marami din yung mataas din yung ating financing cost. Now, laliman natin analysis. Okay? Ang problema dito, okay, ang problema it would seem na ang concern natin sa aggressive. Okay, unahin natin, balik ko sa aggressive. Ang problema ni aggressive financing, guys, is most of its assets are financed with long term. So ang problema dito, in case hindi mo na kailangan yung current asset mo, it is not that easy for you to minimize the current assets. Because the financing of the current asset includes significant amount of long-term sources. Yun ang nagiging problema ni aggressive or restricted working capital policy. Okay? Now, in contrast naman, itong si conservative naman is a little bit better. So in between siya, no? So nandito siya. So in case hindi niya kailangan yung kanyang current assets, ang pwede niya gawin is isettle lang niya itong short-term liabilities na to. It is easier to manage. It's easier to manage conservative working capital policy compared to the aggressive working capital policy. Now, what is in between the two? Okay, what is in between the two? Ang in between the two is what is known as moderate or maturity or matching. Guys, take note yung terminologies na to, ha. It's the moderate working capital policy. Pagdating sa CMA, kadalasan ang tawag natin sa kanya the maturity matching of CMA. Hedging din yan pagdating sa CMA. So it's a combination of what? It's a combination between aggressive and conservative working capital policy. So what happens? You're giving up a certain level of liquidity to attain profitability and vice versa. So simply stated, what is moderate or maturity matching? It is what? The risk is lower than aggressive but higher than conservative. Which will bring us to the question. Okay, so pininisan ko sa'yo yung tatlong working capital policies. Aggressive, conservative, and moderate. Which will now bring us to the question, alin kaya sa tatlo ang the best? Okay, which do you think is of the three is the best? Ang sagot doon, guys, is none. Okay? Sa totoong buhay, guys, ang situation is it will always depend on the given situation. It depends on the nature of your business. It depends on the life cycle of your operations. Depende yan. Okay? Simply stated, what I am presenting to you later on in the future is, dyan ka maglalaro. There are stages in the life of the business na mas magandang aggressive, mas maganda rin ang conservative, and there are times na nandito ka na sa moderate. Depende yan. It's a matter of professional judgment pagdating mo na sa totoong buhay. Okay? So, simply stated, itong present natin sa inyo, itong mga concepts na to are only what theoretically nature lang. Pero syempre, pagdating kasi sa exams, whether CMA or the CPA board exams, yung concepts kasi, test of concepts, kailangan nating maintindihan yung tatlong yon. Okay? Ito siya, guys. Matching long-term and short-term needs. This is the moderate na. Okay? So, ito lang yon. Okay, next. Dig deeper ulit tayo. Management of cash. Okay, so guys, ito management of cash na to is the reason kung bakit nandito si financial management. Bottom line, ang number one na concern talaga ni financial manager is management of cash. And from the management of cash, dito na makikita yung buong kwento, okay, yung buong kwento ng pag-uusapan natin ngayong gabi to, including the concepts related to capital budgeting. So what is our objective pagdating sa cash? Objective of cash management involves the control of cash inflow over outflows. In fact, way back when you were in financial accounting pa lang, okay? Ano sabi ng teacher mo? Financial accounting, okay? Financial accounting, control over cash. Ano sabi niya? Ang sabi niya sa'yo, as much as possible, the collection should always be greater than the disbursements, sabi niya. Doon na simula, yun ang pinakasimula ng function mo as treasurer or financial manager, making sure that the inflows are always greater than the cash outflows. Moreover, ano pa trabaho ni financial manager? The financial manager, stated earlier, is responsible for what? Maintaining liquidity without sacrificing profitability. Okay? So guys, challenging yan. Challenging to sa totoong buhay. So it will determine or it will test your skills. Test your skills in your professional judgment. Tapos, nagpo-forecast ka pa eh. Tinitignan mo pa ano kaya pwede mangyari sa future. Tinitignan mo yan. Tapos, you're also what? Eto, we also try to avoid idle funds. Mamaya pag-uusapan natin yan. Okay? Ito na siya. So, ano sabi natin kanina? So, you have to avoid idle funds. Tama? Ito, iniiwasan natin to. So, normally, there are reasons. Ang reason kung bakit na-avoid natin ang idle funds, simply stated is, it doesn't generate profits for the company. So may pera ka, nakatago lang. Okay? Ang tawag natin dyan sa field ng economics, that's known as the concept of the parody of the thrift. Okay? So tawid kita muna sa economics. Ayan. Sa economics naman guys, pag meron kang pera, gastuin mo. Yun ang sabi nila. Gastuin mo na gastuin. Because if you spend money, you're helping the economy. You're speeding up the velocity of money. If you speed up the velocity of money, you're helping the economy grow. Hindi lang mag-grow, even economic stability. Yun ang sabi ng econ. So ano sabi? Pag meron ka extra cash, gastuin mo. But, the same concept, doon din sa field ng economics, si John Maynard, I think so, yes, John Maynard Keynes, siya rin ang nag-develop ng reasons for holding cash. Siya rin. Okay? So kumbaga, kinontra niya yung concept nila sa econ. Sabi niya, there are reasons, sabi niya. In fact, sa econ, 3 lang yung nirecognize nila eh. Pero I'm presenting to you for now. Okay, present ko sa inyo 4. So, si John Maynard Keynes ang nagsabi nito. We need excess cash, sabi niya. Number 1, for transaction motive. What is transaction motive? Guys, simple lang yan. Diba? Sa jeep. Okay, sa jeep. Pagdating sa umaga, ikaw yung unang customer. Magkano yung pera mo? Ang pera mo 1,000. Okay, 1,000. Ang tindi mo, no? 1,000. Tapos sabi mo, bigay mo kay Manong. Manong, oh. Okay, student. Diba? Isa. Okay, patay na. So ngayon, si Manong driver, problema niya. Paano kanya susuklihan? O, diba? So, yun ang pinaka-concept ng transaction motive. We need excess cash to sustain daily operations. In the field of financial accounting, ang tawag natin dyan is pwede nating tawagin na petty cash fund, pwede mong tawagin na change fund pagdating sa financial accounting. In the field of financial management, the excess cash is for transaction motive. Okay? Yan siya. Next. It's also for what? Safety motive. What is safety motive? Ang safety motive naman is reserves. Sa financial accounting, you call it as reserves. Reserves are money that is set aside that is intended for what? For possible contingencies. Tama? Tandaan yun? Okay, di ba sa financial may contingencies tayo? Money na nakatabi lang. Pagdating sa financial management, ang katapat niya, safety motive. Okay? So, again, accepted yon. Layman's terms. Ikaw, di ba? Example, ikaw, meron ka ba savings? Ayun, meron ka ba savings? Sagot. Okay, sagot. Sana meron. Okay, sana meron. Ano gamit ng savings natin? Simple. Meron kang savings dahil in case nagkasakit ka. In case may nangyari sa'yo na hindi ka nais-nais, meron tayong panggasto. Okay? Concept yan ng safety motive. Another one, speculation. What is meant by speculation? Okay guys, speculation is taking advantage of opportunities. So ganito yan. Okay, ganito yan. Previously, di ba bumagsak ang market prices ng shares ng stocks dito sa Philippines? Previous months, bumagsak because of the pandemic. Kaso nga lang, again, similar sa economics, eventually what will happen? It will recover. Magre-recover yan definitely. So ano sabi sa atin sa investing? Sabi sa atin sa investing, you buy low, sell high. Pero be careful. Okay, hindi ganun kasimple na buy low, sell high. You should buy when the prices are about to increase. Okay, so timingan mo yon. Hanapin mo yung oras na magsisimula na mag-increase yan. Bumili ka na. And during those times, it pays that you have excess cash. Because you have excess cash, That is the opportune time for you to purchase those shares. Para pag nabili mo, tama-tama, pataas na rin yung prices niya. Pag tumataas na yan, hintayin mo na lang, capital gains ka na. That's speculation. Okay? That is excess cash held for speculation. Tawid kita sa advanced accounting. Di ba sa advanced accounting, meron tayong forex. What is the reason kung bakit meron tayong foreign currency na hawak? It is intended for speculation. Tama? Hedge for. Tawid pa kita sa hedging. Okay, sa hedging, ano pa meron doon? Sa hedging transactions natin, hedge against a speculation. Same concept in managerial accounting pa rin yan. Okay? So, speculative motive. Ano kasunod? Okay, ito yung dagdag. Pero very common naman to eh. Bank relationship requirements. What is bank relationship requirements? Some bank relationship requirements naman, ito yung compensating balance requirement. Question, bakit nga ba may compensating balance? What's the reason behind? Di ba? Ang dali-dali mag-compute. Ang dali mag-compute ng ano na to, ng effective interest with compensating balance. Pati sa financial accounting natin, ano tinatanong sa inyo sa financial accounting? What is compensating balance and what is the treatment? Di ba? Presented as a component of cash period. Question, what is the reason? Bakit merong compensating balance? Ang sagot doon guys is because instead of the bank charging you higher interest rates, instead of the bank charging you additional fees, they will simply what? Require compensating balance na lang. Parang naiwan na pera, naiwan mo sa kanila, i-reinvest nila yan. They will also earn money from others. Hindi lang sa'yo mag-earn ng pera. Yun ang purpose ng compensating balance requirements. Okay, anyway, these are what? Those are the valid reasons for holding excess cash. Okay, so malapit na to. Okay, malapit yun ang makita yung buong kwento niya. So anyway, guys, ang behavior of cash lang naman is simply collection and disbursement lang naman. So what do? It's simply the process of buying and selling the goods. So simply what? Kadalasan, purchase muna, tapos ay mag-purchase, sale, and then from sale, collection, tapos bayad utang. Okay, so yan yung starting point ito. This is known as the cash conversion cycle. Ito ang buong mundo ng financial management, okay, which is the cash conversion cycle. So let me punta tayo dito sa diagram na to. Okay, so guys, bird's eye view na to ha. Makikita mo na yung buong concept ng financial management. Most especially for working capital management. Kadalasan, ang starting point natin dito is we will magpa-purchase tayo ng purchase of inventories, which is this one. So, purchase of inventories. So, pag nag-purchase tayo ng inventories, what happens is, ito, meron tayong inventories. So, point of purchase ng inventories. Okay? Kadalasan, at the point of purchase of the inventories, ang mangyari dito, yung cash balance natin. So, lagay natin guys ha. So, what will happen to our cash balance? Cash, receivables, inventories, and accounts payable. So, if you notice, ano itong mga accounts na to? Those comprise your current. These are the current assets and current liabilities. At the point of purchase, yung cash balance natin will decline. Okay, decline yan. But sa inventory levels mo naman will increase. Then, what happens? Okay, point of purchase yon. From the point of purchase, ito sundan natin guys ha, si average age of inventories. Okay? From the point of purchase, ibebenta na natin siya. So, ito na. This is right at the point of sale. So, ito na si point of sale. So, point of sale naman, what happens? At the point of sale, yung cash balance natin will now increase. The receivables will now increase. And then, inventory levels natin, since nabenta na to, it will eventually decrease. That's the point of sale. The number of days it will take you to sell all of the inventories. So, on the point of purchase at the point of sale, ano ulit tawag natin doon? You call it as the average age of inventories ang tawag natin doon. Okay? Next. From the point of sale, ano next na gagawin natin? Point of collection na yan. Pag nag-point of collection na tayo, simply stated, what happens? Yung cash balance natin, okay, eventually will increase na naman. And then, what will happen to the receivables? Yung receivables natin will now decrease. The number of days it will take you to collect your receivables, convert your receivables into cash, is the average age of receivables. Ayun. Now, lagyan natin to ng araw. Lagyan natin ng dates. Lagyan natin ng days. What if the average age of inventories mo, let's say is 20, let's say 25 days. Ay 25 days. It will take you 25 days to sell off your inventories. And it will take you another 20 days to collect accounts receivable. So what happens? Pag kinomplete natin yung cycle na to, from the point of collection, what will come next? Di ba point of payment na? Ayan. So lagay ko muna saglit Lagay ko lang. Point of payment. So bayad tayo ng utang. Pag nagbayad ka ng utang, what happens? Yung cash balance mo will now decrease. Then accounts payable is now settled. It will now decrease. At this point, what happened? Back to point of purchase ka na naman. Kaya ang tawag natin dito, operating cycle. Okay, now, ganito. This is 25 days. This is 20 days. All in all, ating operating cycle is 45 days. Okay, 45. Now, what if, ano ba ngayon? Malapit na mag-September, no? Okay guys, malapit na mag-September. Birth months na. Okay? What if this is September 1? So September 1 yan. Sold out siya by September 25. Tama? Sold out by September 25. Full collection tayo by October 15. 10, 15. May problema. Guys, may problema. Kasi kadalasan, yung accounts payable natin, average age of trade payables, most of the time is due for how many days? Kadalasan, 30 days yan. Okay, 30. So if nag-purchase tayo ng September 1, you purchase on September 1, kailan siya due? It is due on September 30. Due ng September 30. Kailan pa lang tayo? Kailan natin makukolekta yung cash natin? Only on October 15 pa lang. Meron siyang difference. Meron siyang difference na 15 days. Ano tawag natin sa 15 days na to? The 15 days is in fact your cash conversion cycle. What is meant by 15 days? Ang 15 days, guys, simple ang simple. Nandyan na si supplier. Sinisingil ka na niya. Problema, wala kang available na cash. Naipit yan sa receivables and inventories. Okay? So, eto na yung objective natin. The objective should be, ang cash conversion cycle should at least become negative. Dapat i-negative natin si cash conversion cycle or zero. Dapat yung value ng cash conversion cycle. Paano mo gagawin yan? Okay, paano? Guys, simple. Yung average age of inventories natin, dapat mas mababa pa to. It should be lower. How about the average age of receivables? Ganun din. Dapat si average age of receivables, dapat mababa rin to. Okay, mababa rin yan. And what will come next? The average age of trade payables should be longer. Dapat mas matagal pa. If nagawa natin yon, what will happen to cash conversion cycle? Yung cash conversion cycle natin, negative or zero na yan. So how do you do that? The strategy is you collect as fast as possible. Collect your receivables as fast as possible. Sell your inventories as fast as possible. First strategy, collect as fast as possible. What is the second strategy? Ang second strategy natin is prolong the disbursements as long as possible. Guys, yung dalawang yon are the two main strategies in cash management. Kaya gaya ng sabi ko sa inyo guys, lahat to, yung buong kwento na to, will already give you the bird's eye view of working capital management. To manage your cash, you need to what? To manage mo tong cash na to, palitan natin yung color. Okay? To manage cash, you have to manage the receivables and you might manage the receivables, inventories, and accounts payable. Related na to sa receivables, inventories, and accounts payable. Dito rin nanggaling yung dalawang major na cash management strategy. Minimize the collection float, maximize the disbursement float. Okay? So, simple example lang tayo, guys. Okay, simple lang naman to. X company sells all its merchandise on credit. The credit terms require customers to pay within 60 days after sale. On the average, it can sell all of its products in 75 days, while the company is required to pay its credit purchases in 40 days. Compete for operating cycle. Guys, ito mga basic questions. Ang kagandahan sa, alam nyo guys, sa CMA exams, kadalasan ang question basic lang. Unlike with sa CPA board exam, may mga constructive tayo, no? Anyway, meron din naman ganun sa CMA, pero it's more of the basics. Tapos cash conversion cycle. So nga pala, ito yung ating operating cycle. The simply average age of inventories plus receivables minus average age of trade payables is equal to the cash conversion cycle. Okay, so ito na siya guys. Sa illustrative problem natin, operating cycle is simply 135 days. Total lang yan ng simply the total of average age of inventories plus average age of receivables. Okay, so ito yun. So 60 days and 75 days respectively. Tapos yung isa naman, average age of trade payables to pay the credit purchases will take them about 40 days. So ito kailangan natin. So to compute for operating cycle, add mo lang yung dalawa. Ito naman cash conversion cycle will give us 95 days. Okay? So yun siya. Ito guys, problema yan. Problema yan. 3 months, imagine. 3 months yung hihintayin mo para mabayaran mo si supplier natin. Pag ako supplier mo, magagalit ako sa'yo. Or that's too much. Ayun, next. What is float naman? Okay, so guys, eto na yung strategy natin sa cash management. It's known as playing the float. So what's playing the float? Ano muna ang float? Is the time between cash payment and the point that the cash is in the hands of the payee already available for his disposal. In other words, guys, binigyan kita ng pera. Ilang araw ang lilipas para yung pera na binigay ko sa'yo, pwede mo nang gastuhin. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng float. And there are two types of float. You have the collection float. Simply stated, guys, pag sinabi nating float, delay lang yan. Tawag natin dyan, delay. Okay, these are delays. And there's a delay arising from collection and delay arising from the disbursement. Ano sabi natin kanina? Dalawang strategy. Ano yung dalawang strategy na yun? Number 1, minimize the collection float. Minimize mo to. And what's the second one? Second one is maximize the disbursement float. Ito naman. Those are the two cash management strategies. Ito yun. Lalarin natin. Yan. So ano nga ba yung sources ng float? Okay, sources ng float. Pero ngayon guys, halos wala na to ha. Ang mail float guys is this is the float that is brought about by the postal service. So example, ang supplier natin nasa kabilang town. Ano gagawin natin? Isuan mo ng cheque. Pag inisuan mo ng cheque, tapos ipunta mo sa post office, and then through snail mail, ayan, i-deliver sa kanya through the postal service. Kadalasan, pag local mails, it will take them about 2 days. Okay, 2 days din yan. What is processing? Ang processing float naman is the delay caused by internal control. Sa internal control, di ba? Ano sabi? Pagka-collect mo ng cash, ano mo na gagawin mo? Hindi mo pwedeng gastuin. Pagka-collect mo ng cash, total mo muna. Pagka-total mo sa kanya, what will you do? Dapat balance yung cash count sa resibo. So pag nag-balance na yung dalawang yon, ready na for deposit. Guys, nagkakaroon ng delay yon. So yung cash mo, kadalasan because binabalance pa natin yan, pagdating na alas 5 ng hapon, sarado na yung bangko. Since sarado na yung bangko, kailan mo i-deposit? Next day na siya. Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na cash on hand. What is cash on hand? Basically, cash on hand is collections during the day, awaiting deposit the next day. Float yon. This is the delay caused by internal control. And we also have what? Clearing float. Ano naman ang clearing float? Simple and simple. Ang clearing float naman is, that is the float caused by the ng bangko naman to. So, di ba yung cheque natin, pag pinunta mo yung cheque, pag umabot ka na or lumagpas ka sa cut-off time, ibig sabihin on credit sa account mo, next day na. Clearing float naman yon. But during this time and age, and because of the pandemic, everything went electronic. So basically, what happened to float? Wala na ngayon to. Okay, wala na. Di ba? Wala na. Pati processing. Diretso na. In fact, yung pera nasa account mo na. Na i-deposit na sa account mo kahit hindi pa recorded yung transaction. Including clearing. Guys, wala na to. Halos wala na to. Puro bank transfer na lang ngayon. Moreover, pag nag-bank transfer kasi, it's a lot easier. Di ba? Easier. And it's even faster. Tapos mas tipid pa. Kaya yun din naman, yun din advantage of what happened now. Tapos with the advent of cryptocurrencies pa. With the advent of cryptocurrencies, definitely what will happen to these things? Mawawala na tong mga to. Okay, mga floats na to. But that's a challenge to the financial manager. Kasi pag ikaw yung nangongolekta, walang problema, di ba? Pag ikaw yung nangongolekta, kasi take advantage ka. Mas mabilis, better for you. Problem is, pag ikaw yung magbabayad ng utang mo, pag ikaw yung nagbayad, paano mo siya i-delay? That's the problem. So guys, eto ang float na tinutukoy. Ang float, pwede siyang, ang float can be stated in pesos. Pwede rin siyang stated in days. Pwede yun. So, simple example lang. Ex-Captain of Baguio issued a check to its supplier in Manila amounting to 10,000. Usually, the arrival time of a Baguio to Manila mail is 3 days. So guys, eto ha. So, meron tayong mail float na 3 days. Okay, so simply stated, the mail float is 3 days. The supplier in Manila will receive the check, record it in his books, and deposit it the following day. It will take him 2 days. So again, what is 2 days? That is our processing float. The regional check usually requires 5 days to clear, meaning 5 days of clearing float. So guys, i-total mo lang yun, di ba? Total mo lang siya. So what is our float? Ang float natin ay 10 days. Ayun, so 10 days total of float. Tapos pag minultiply natin siya, okay? Pag minultiply natin siya dito sa 10,000, what happens? Ito na yung ating, this is the total float in pesos. So that's it. Now, meron tayo later on. So meron tayong mga problems later, pero tinanggal ko yata eh, ano? So computation of net float. If the question is net float, what do we do? That is the collection float minus the disbursement float. So pwede rin yun. Pwede siyang collection float, disbursement float in days, or collection float minus disbursement float in pesos. Pwede rin yun. Which will bring us what? Whether negative or positive, yun yung net position mo. Okay? So meron din siya. Next. So ano strategy? So how do we speed up collections? In the CMA exams, kasama to sa core competency mo. So if you're planning to take the CMA exam, dapat alam mo itong mga to. For the CPA exams naman, dagdag kaalaman to. So what is meant by lockbox system? Guys, ang lockbox system, simply stated as the postal. I'm not sure kung alam nyo pa ang post office box. Ang post office box is literally, box talaga yan, literally, na maliliit metal boxes na yung mails na matatanggap mo, doon ipupunta sa post office box. Now, sa field ng finance, ano ginawa natin? Ginamit natin yung post office box na yon para yung disbursements or collections, yung collections natin from our customers, doon na lang sa idediretso sa post office box. And then as the owner of the post office box, what do you do? Ang gagawin mo lang is pupunta ka lang. Any time of the day, kunin mo yung laman ng post office box mo. Lockbox system na yon. It started yan as a strategy to speed up collection of mails. Yung para matanggap ka ng mail mo, ginamit natin sa finance, naging lockbox system siya. Okay? Next, what is pre-authorized checks? Ang pre-authorized checks naman, speeding collection, synonymous to what? Ito mga example, cashier's check, manager's check, certified check. Okay, so ito yun. What is eliminated? Ang eliminated dito is yung check clearing float kasi good as cash na siya. Aside from that, pre-authorized debit or credit charges, simply stated, ano na to? Ang nangyari dito si supplier mo, kumbaga in advance na niya yung payment sa'yo. Cash advance na. Simply stated, hindi mo pa na-deliver yung goods or services, binigay na sa yung payment mo. So, pwede rin yan. Another strategy. Also, remote deposits. What are remote deposit? Guys, ang remote deposit collection center ang tawag natin dyan. Di ba si SM? Si SM, pwede tayong magbayad ng utilities sa kanya. So aside from that, and all other bills, pwede kang magbayad sa kanya. Remote deposits yun. As well as what? Concentration banking. Ang concentration banking naman, guys, is marami tayong iba-ibang accounts sa iba-ibang bangko. Pag meron ka na-collect, example, meron akong BPI check from my customers, what will I do? I will deposit it to my BPI account kasi mas mabilis ang clearing niya. Another example is BDO naman yung customer mo. Binigay sa'yo BDO check. I-deposit mo sa BDO account mo. Mas mabilis ang clearing niya. Okay? Yun ang strategy ng concentration banking. As well as what? Depository transfer checks. Guys, kadalasan, pag depository transfer check ang pinag-usapan natin, has something to do with investments. Okay? Yung proof of investments, ownership of stocks, mga ganun, certificate of deposits na yung mga yon. And finally, eto na yung ginagamit natin ngayon, wire transfers. Okay, we're using wire transfers. Wire transfer is very broad, including GCash, guys. Ha? Kasama ang GCash dyan. Pero guys, be careful. As much as possible, although GCash is very convenient and everything, tapos reasonable din, di ba? Very reasonable din yung charging rates nila. It's very high. Mataas ang risk ng GCash. Alam niyo kung bakit? Because GCash is not an official bank. Hindi yan bangko. It is not regulated by Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Kaya ingat tayo. Kaya kung minsan, di ba, pag yung transaction mo with GCash nag-fail, na ibawas na sa account mo, hirap ka. Hirap kang i-reverse yung transaction mo. Guys, be careful. Hindi yan sanction or ano na to, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. High risk yon, high risk. Although it's very convenient. Mas madali pa mag-bank transfer na lang kaysa mag-Gcash ka. Ayan. Anyway, illustration. This is the reason why kailangan nating mag-speed up ng collections. What are the advantages? So we have, suppose X company has daily average credit sales 5,000 average age before the after speeding cash collections for 40 days and 30 days respectively. Prevailing rate of return on short-term securities is 12%. How much is the incremental profit? Guys, ito naman yung the reason kung bakit kailangan natin mag-speed up ng collections. So you were able to cut down collection period from 40 to 30 days na lang. So nangyari doon, you were able to save 10 days. Faster collection by 10 days. Multiply with 5,000 daily collections. Will give us what? Okay, multiply mo lang ng 12%. Ibig sabihin nun, nag-earn ka pa ng 6,000 per annum. Not bad, guys. Not bad. You know? So, because you were able to collect faster within 10 days, nag-earn ka pa ng 6,000 per annum. This is only justifiable provided that yung cost naman, yung cost of speeding up collection is lower than 6,000 per annum. Lugi ka eh. Lugi ka pag ang financing cost nito, magkano? You paid someone to speed up collections. Magkano bayad niya? 10,000. Tapos magkano lang interest income mo? 6,000 lang. Lugi ka ron. Wag na lang pag ganun din lang. So again, guys, these are only what? Computations leading to decision making. Now, the second side is how do we control disbursements? Ang controlling naman na disbursement is number one, control disbursing. O, di ba? Yan ang definition. What is control disbursing? Ang control disbursing is eto na yung example sa payroll. Pag sa payroll, titignan mo yung withdrawal strategies ng employees mo. Let's say, 50% of the employees will withdraw at the date of payroll. Tapos yung meron kasunod naman is, let's say, yung mga about the remaining 30% will withdraw after 2 days. Remaining naman sa kanila is about the third or the fourth day after payroll. What do you do? On the first day, ang i-deposit mo lang is only kalahati lang. Bakit ginagawa yon? Kasi guys, kadalasan, pag payroll accounts, non-interest bearing yon. So simply stated, instead na yung pera, pinasok mo agad sa payroll accounts na non-interest bearing, nag-earn mo na interest sa ibang investments mo. Nag-earn mo na. Kahit isang araw lang yan, malaking bagay yon. Okay, malaking bagay na yan. Yun ang strategy ng controlled disbursing. You are forecasting the disbursement of your money. Kadalasan sa payroll ginagamit yan. Ano kasunod? Playing the float. What is playing the float again? That is what? Maximizing the disbursement float and minimizing the collection float. What is staggered funding? Similar to controlled disbursing and staggered or controlled disbursing. Halos magkapatid tong dalawang to. Okay? Ito guys, draft. Ang draft is ito yung kapalit ng cheque. Ang cheque kasi, upon presentation with the bank, encash ka agad yon. In contrast, pag draft, dalawa yan. Meron tayong tinatawag na site draft. Meron tayong tinatawag na time draft. What is a site draft? Ang site draft is, I will pay you when I see you. Simply stated, pag nakita mo na yung nag-issue ng draft, babayaran ka na niya. Pero anyway, guys, safe naman ang draft eh. Kasi kadalasan ang nag-issue pa rin yung mga bangko pa rin naman. Or pwede rin naman individual person. Okay, site draft yon. Meron din tinatawag na time draft. What is time draft naman? Ang time draft naman, meron siyang certain maturity period. So, pag na-reach na niya yung maturity period na yun, pwede mo na siyang bayaran. Take advantage. Okay? I-prolong mo yung disbursement mo to the draft, the side draft and the time draft. Lalo na pag side draft, di ba? Ayaw mong bayaran, what do you do? Di magtago kang magtago, di ba? Ganun kasimple yun. Okay? Tapos number 5 naman, overdraft. Ang overdraft is a special agreement between the bank and the depositor. Simply stated, ang overdraft system is yung bangko, nag-issue ka na nag-issue ng cheque, kahit wala nang ponda yan, since meron kang special na usapan ng bangko, babayaran ng bangko yung mga cheque mo. Okay? I'm not sure if narinig nyo na yung tinatawag na yung the black credit card, the black American card. Okay? What is the black American card? Ang black na American card, guys, i-charge mo na i-charge. Mag-charge ka na mag-charge. Kahit millions ang i-charge mo, babayaran niya ng bangko. Ganun ang guarantee niya, the black American card. Bihirang-bihira ang may hawak nun. So that's the overdraft system. And the zero balance account. Zero balance account, ganun din. Simply stated, popondahan mo lang yung account pag meron ta anticipated na disbursement. Pag wala anticipated na disbursement, maintain at zero. Why? Because it is non-interest earning. Simply stated, ano lang yung deposits mo? Only on short-term interest earning deposits lang dapat. So these are the methods of controlling the disbursements. Okay? Next, okay, simple illustration na naman tayo. X company makes large cash payments averaging 20,000 daily. The company changed from using checks to side draft, which will permit it to hold onto its cash for 1x a day. If X company can use the extra cash to earn 12% annually, what annual peso return will it earn? Okay guys, simple lang to, di ba? So meron tayong 20,000 daily and you were able to hold onto it for 1x a day and it will earn 12% per annum. Ano lang gagawin mo? Multiply lang na multiply. Okay, simply stated, you will earn 2,400. So guys, at this point, kitang-kita na natin yung kwento ng cash. So sa kwento ng cash, you collect as fast as possible to increase the cash balance. You disburse as fast as possible to hold on to your cash. Ano gagawin natin sa excess cash natin? Yung excess cash natin, invest mo. Invest mo muna para mag-earn. Kanina yung earnings sa'yo. That's taking advantage of the collection float and the disbursement float. Okay? Which will now bring us to, okay, magkano nga ba ang kailangan nating cash? What is an appropriate level of cash? Okay, there are two methods that is used to compute appropriate level of cash. We have what's known as the Baumol model, which uses the concepts of the EOQ. Ang concept ng EOQ is that is the cost of converting cash to marketable equity securities and vice versa. Yun ang tinitignan natin doon. And the opportunity cost of investing excess cash. Again, if you plan to take the CMA, dapat master mo to. Yung concept ng EOQ applied in management of cash, also known as the ECQ, economic cash quantity. Parang sila ng formula. That's 2 times the conversion cost times annual demand for cash divided by opportunity cost and percentage. Guys, may logic to mamaya ha. Tuturo ko sa inyo mamaya yung logic ng EOQ formula na yan. So, simple example lang muna tayo. The management of X company anticipates 1.5 million in cash outflows for the coming year. The firm has determined that it costs $30 to convert marketable securities to cash and vice versa. The marketable securities portfolio currently earns an 8% annual rate of return. So, compute for the ECQ. O, di ba? Tama ba, ECQ? O, di ba? ECQ, ano? Parang enhanced community quarantine lang. Okay? Compute for the ECQ. So, using the formula, yung formula natin na EOQ, substitute lang. That's 2 times 30 times 1.5 million divided by 8%. Should give us 33,541. What is 33,541? Ano yung katuturan na na-compute natin na to? Guys, kanya lang yung itsura niya. If we need cash, pag kailangan natin ng cash, na zero account na tayo, this is our beginning balance, na zero ka na. Pag kailangan mo ng cash, all you have to do is what? Convert 33,541 of marketable equity securities. Gawin mo siyang cash. So, yung itsura na yan is from marketable equity securities going to cash. Okay? Ang problema dito, this is a one-sided analysis. Bakit one-sided analysis? Ang assumption kasi dito, from MBS convert to cash, tapos gasto ka na naman. Gasto ka lang ng gasto hanggang maubos na naman siya. Nawala yung side ng collection. Okay, nawala. So, simply stated, pag naubos na naman yung cash mo, convert marketable equity securities into cash na naman hanggang nade-deplete lang. Simply stated, the ECQ is not realistic. Okay, hindi siya realistic. Pero the reason kung bakit kino-compute natin ang ECQ is because we're trying to optimize this one. We're trying to optimize cost of converting and the opportunity cost. Anyway, guys, may logic yan. Makita mo mamaya. I'll show you the logic of this formula. Nag-equal tong dalawan to. Meaning at 33,541 pesos, this is the cash level that will show us, or that will give us the lowest possible total of carrying cost or the cost of converting and opportunity cost. Lowest possible total na yan. Pagdating sa mathematics, ang tawag natin dyan is optimization. That's cost optimization. Pati sa di ba? Pati sa profit maximization ng Econ, MR is equal to MC, ganun din siya. So now, this is a more realistic model. This is known as the Miller-Orr model. Ang Miller-Orr model naman considers yung collection at saka disbursement. It also considers what? Considers na nagkakaroon tayo ng, nagme-maintain tayo. We maintain a cash balance. Miller-Orr model na yon. Ito siya. Okay guys, this is the formula of Miller-Orr model. The return point is equal to 3 is the cube root, okay, of 3 times conversion cost times variance of daily net cash outflows divided by 4 times daily opportunity cost in percentage. Okay, the upper limit is 3 times the return point. Okay guys, concept to ha, concept. Example, tuloy lang natin. Now, some additional information for X company. Variance for daily net cash flows and the daily opportunity cost. Okay, so ganito yan. Ito yung na-compute natin. May return point tayo of roughly 1,400 pesos. And the upper limit is roughly 4,000. That's roughly 4,200. Yung na-compute natin. Ano ang katuturan na na-compute mo? Guys, take note, yung na-compute mo is useless until you know how it is used. So, ito siya. Ito ang kagandahan ng Miller-Orr model. Mas realistic siya. Ang beginning balance ng cash natin, beginning balance of your cash is 1,399 or 1,400 sabihin na natin. Yan ang beginning balance mo. And while you do operations, meron tayong collection and disbursements. Na walakta ka, mag-i-increase. Tapos pag nag-disburse ka, magde-decline. Decrease yon until you will reach the upper limit. Dito mo malalaman na too much cash na yung hawak mo. If your cash balance will reach 4,197, you already have too much cash. It's now time for you to convert cash to marketable equity securities para balik ulit siya sa 1,399. Pag nag-disburse ka naman at sumobra ang disbursements mo, what happened? Na-deplete ang cash. Nandito na siya. What do? You convert marketable equity securities into cash para balik na naman siya dito. Yun ang Miller-Orr model, which is more realistic compared to the ECQ model as presented earlier. Ito yun. Now, may problema dito. Alam niyo kung bakit hindi ito binibigay sa CPA board exams? The reason kung bakit hindi binibigay sa CPA board exam is because of this one. Magki-cube root ka. Hindi kaya ng cube root yung basic calculator. Okay, hindi niya kaya. Pero, if you plan to take the CMA exams, that's possible. Pwede yan. Kasi sa CMA, computerized ang exams. Pati calculator, you are given the option to use a financial calculator. Pwede doon. Kaya yun. Okay, so guys, that's the first of the, yun yung unang kwento. Okay, unang kwento. Second, management of marketable equity securities naman tayo. Okay guys, bago tayo mag-proceed ng MES, summarize lang natin si cash. Sa cash, what is important is you're matching your collections and your disbursements. Minamatch mo yung dalawang yun. You have sufficient cash to sustain operations so as not to sacrifice profitability. If you have excess cash, what do we do? Invest mo lang siya. Okay, invest mo lang para mag-earn para sa company. Yun ang ancillary sources of earnings mo. Now, sa management of marketable equity securities, hindi basta-basta na invest mo na lang yung pera mo. Meron tayong mga guidelines na tinitingnan dito. What is your role as financial manager na naman? Ano objective mo? It is to choose, number one, to choose securities that will maximize value to the company. Guys, dalawa to. If you purchase marketable equity securities, number one na concern na naman natin doon is yung liquidity niya. Can we dispose the marketable equity security when it's already needed? Will it earn us money? Yun ang reason, di ba? Kung bakit tayo nag-invest para mag-earn tayo ng money. Yun yung tinitingnan natin doon. And these are not the reasons. Paano nga ba pumili ng marketable equity securities? Number one is safety of the principal. What is meant by safety of the principal? Guys, ganito yan. May lumapit sa'yo. Sabi niya, invest ka sa akin. Invest ka sa akin. After 1 month, I will double your money. O, di ba? Naniwala ka naman. Naniwala ka. Tapos ano ginawa mo? Nag-invest ka 100,000 muna. Binigay mo sa kanya. After 1 month, binigay sa'yo, 200,000 na. Tapos sabi niya, mag-invest ka pa ng mas malaki para mas malaki yung returns. Umutang ka pa, okay? Hiningan mo pa ng pera yung family members mo. Nag-invest ka 1 million na. 1 million. Tapos eventually, what happened after another month? Naglaho na siya. Na-scam ka na pala. That is an example of what? Pag nag-invest ka, make sure na babalik sa'yo. Safety of the principal yon. Not upon maturity of the obligation. Upon maturity of the obligation, you will recover the initial investment. Guys, there was a research that was done before. Share lang to. Bakit nga ba maraming na-scam? May nag-research. In-interview niya. Bakit nga ba? Alam mo yung snowballing na method of na research of looking for respondents. Nag-snowballing siya. It started with one person. Na-scam. Tapos may kakilala ka ba na na-scam din? Meron, sabi niya. Hanggang umabot na sila ng 50 plus. Guys, 50 plus yung na-interview niya. And based on the conclusion, there's one common factor kung bakit na-scam. Bakit nabibiktima tayo ng scam? Yung common factor na yun because of greed. Okay, guys, because of greed. Ayun, yung gusto mong mag-earn ng easy money, because of that, maraming na-scam. So pag kayo na-scam, somewhat, nandun ka sa area na yun. Okay? So again, guys, be careful. Ang tawag natin dito is upon maturity of the obligation, you will recover your investment. Safety of the principal yon. Moreover, what is number 2? Pag nag-invest kasi tayo, dalawa yung possible na earnings mo. The first is the passive income. The second is the capital gains. Ang passive income lang natin doon, which is the interest. Kontento na tayo, di ba? Kaya tayo nag-invest because meron tayong passive income. But make sure that upon maturity, the fair value of the investment is at least na-maintain man niya. Mas maganda pag tumaas pa. Ito naman this is where we get the capital gains. So pag tumaas yung fair value niya, the better. May capital gains ka. Give you an example. Tito ko to Okay, tito ko. Kawawa naman. Okay. In-invest niya yung pera niya. Bangko. Di ko nasasabihin anong bangko. In-invest niya money market, sabi. Sige, money market. Will mature. Within few months lang. Invest niya. Napakalaking pera. 1 million plus. Tapos eventually, after few months, bumalik siya. Kumusta na investment ko? Sabi niya, sir, bumaba ang return sa market. Instead na kumita tayo, nalugi tayo Sabi sa kanya. So eventually, what happened? Nalugi nga siya. Tapos sabi niya, sige, wag na. Sabi, hindi ko na ituloy yung investment ko. So, inaccept niya yung lugi, Then after few months, nag-recover ang market. Yung market nag-generate na ng gain. Wala na. Give up na niya yung investment niya. That is price stability. Ayan. So guys, pag nag-invest kayo hindi lang sa short term, including long term investment, stocks and bonds. Ito rin yun. And what is number 3? Marketability. Is the ability for you to sell or convert the investment into cash when it is already needed. Liquidity risk naman yon. So again, guys, ibang kwento ulit ang risk management. Medyo malalim-lalim din yon. Ang liquidity is not affected by 2 factors. Anong dalawang factors na yon? The breadth of market and the depth. What is meant by breadth of market? Gaano karami? Gaano karami ang may gustong bumili ng or gustong mag-convert into cash para mabenta mo, di ba? Ayan, bumili. Yun nga yun. Bumili ng marketable equity securities mo. Gaano sila karami? What is meant by depth of market? Ang depth of market naman is gaano yung hawak nila ng pera. ilang millions ang hawak nila para i-convert into cash yung investment mo. That's the difference between breadth, gaano kalawak, depth naman, how deep are their pockets naman that they will buy from you. So that's the ano na to, yun ang pinaka-concept ng liquidity. So ito yun. Guys, ang liquidity risk, full discussion sa risk management. And others, ano tong others na to? Taxability. Taxability of the investment. Okay, isa na rin yun. So, nag-invest ka, nag-earn. Meron yan eh. Example, pag nag-invest tayo sa bangko, invest ka ng money market sa bangko, alam niyo, kikitain nun? It will earn about 1% per annum. Ang laki ano? 1% per annum. Tapos from the 1% per annum subject to final tax pa. So pag final tax mo, magkano na lang earnings nun? Napakaliit na. Kaya kung minsan, it's better for you to invest your money with financial institutions such as itong mga, alam niyo mga nag-offer ng itong mga insurance companies. Insurance companies, meron silang fund managers. Mas mataas pa returns doon kesa sa banks. I don't have anything against sa banks pero kung minsan kasi nag-invest ka na rin lang, syempre mag-invest ka na medyo, mas malaki naman ang returns niya. Okay? Guys, ito ulit. Simple examples of marketable equity instruments are classified into two. Meron tayong government-issued instruments. Meron din tayong privately issued instruments or marketable equity securities. Pag government, these are the treasury bills and the treasury notes. Okay, mga short terms ng mga to. This is needed by the government when need to raise funds or needed to raise financing for the government's projects. Way back, okay, wala pa kayo nun, si President Ramos dati. Ang problema nun was puro brownouts. Halos nag-back down na ang ating mga power plants noon. So si President Ramos nag-issue treasury bills and treasury notes to raise money to finance the construction of power plants. Yun, ginawa yan dito sa Philippines. In fact, this is a source of money. Ginagamit to ng gobyerno natin to raise money for their projects, immediate projects. Pag private institutions naman, meron tayong certificate of deposit. A certificate of deposit is issued by the bank. So simply stated, si bangko will guarantee, will make sure na upon na it is traded, okay, traded in the money market, na upon maturity, present mo lang kay bangko, isa-settle na ni bangko to. Certificate of deposit. A commercial paper is synonymous to bonds payable. Parang bonds payable to, only thing is, ang commercial paper is short term. Okay? It's for good for short period of time. Commercial paper na yun. Ang banker's acceptance naman is a guarantee. Guarantee ng bangko na parang manager's check or cashier's check ang banker's acceptance. Pero meron siyang period. Meron siyang duration, number of, na pwede siyang outstanding for a period of months, and then after which, pag present mo na sa upon maturity, babayaran na ng bangko. Banker's acceptance yun. Ito naman ang usong-uso. This is what they offer you, at least higher ang interest rates natin, money market mutual funds. In the Philippines, minimum deposit of 5,000. From the 5,000, kahit pa paano, ang interest earnings mo at least 10% per annum. Maganda na yun. Okay, maganda na yun. Kaysa naman 1% per annum, di ba? So ito yun. Lalo na sa, usong-usong ito sa Philippines. And the purchase agreements. The purchase agreements, again, issuances of the bank. Repos. Ang isang pangalan yan, repos. Pero eventually, issue niya at a discount, and then eventually, upon maturity, babayaran ka at the face value na. Okay? Repurchase agreements naman yon. So those are what? These are simple examples of short-term investments. Again, if you plan to take the CMA, dapat alam natin to. Next, okay, management of receivables na tayo. Management of receivables. Ang problema sa receivables, if you want kasi, kung minsan gusto natin, nais natin, sana pure cash pag nagbenta ka. Problema pag pure cash, halos walang may gustong bumili sa'yo. Kaya it is inevitable that you have to sell on account. Kapilitan, sa ayaw at sa gusto. Problem is, eto na siya. Before you extend credit, you have to consider the following. You have to check on the credit standards. Ang una natin tinitingnan. And yung credit standards na to is now, pag-aaralan mo yun si borrower mo. Alam na alam nyo to guys, imposible hindi. Okay? So ano tong liman to? The 5 C's of credit. The pinaka-importante sa kanila is this one. It's the character. Character is the only subjective, but it's the most important among the 5 C's of credit. Why? It is subjective because it depends on the borrower. Kahit naman yung borrower mo, may pera siya. Pero pag hindi siya marunong magbayad, kahit anong gawin mo, hindi ka talaga niya babayaran. Maraming mga taong ganon. Tama? Sigurado ako, na-try mo nang magpautang, tapos yung pinautang mo, hindi mo na siya nakolekta. Doon mo na-realize na sa mundong to, meron palang forever. Di ba? Forever na hindi ka na binayaran. Yun eh, no? So character is the most important and the only subjective C's of the 5 C's of credit. What is capacity? Capacity to pay. Pag pinautangan mo siya, kaya ba niyang bayaran in the future? Tinitignan natin dyan sweldo. Di ba? Yung sweldo niya. How much of the salary? How much will be spent on the necessities? And then after necessities, magkano pa naiwan? Capacity to pay yon. If you plan, let's say example, sa future, uutang ka sa Pag-ibig Housing. Pag-ibig Housing, magpapatayo ka ng bahay mo or you purchase house and lot. Tinitignan nila yon. Tinitignan nila yung capacity to pay mo. Ipapa-breakdown sa'yo. Eto yung sweldo mo. Ipapa-breakdown yung mga gastuhin mo. Ima-match nila yon. Magkano pa excess? Yun ang pwede mong bayaran na monthly basis. That's capacity to pay. The other one, what is collateral naman? Ang collateral naman will serve as an assurance that the obligation will be settled upon maturity. It will minimize yung tinatawag natin na liquidity risk or maturity risk. Na upon maturity of the obligation, kahit wala kang pera, anong gagawin nung nagpautang sa'yo? Foreclosure of property. From foreclosure of property, doon na papasok ang dasyon and pago and session and pago accounting as well as a business law. Okay? So, yun ang purpose ng collateral. Collateral will serve as an assurance of the settlement of your obligation. What is meant by capital? Guys, ang capital, simple. Ang capital, ganito. Nagpatayo ka ng, example, house and lot. Bibili ka ng house and lot. Magkano yung house and lot mo? Ang house and lot is worth 10 million. Of the 10 million na house and lot, how much will come from your own money? Ang example doon is, you're willing to give, let's say, 7 million to purchase the house and lot. Yung remaining na 3 million, yun lang yung utangin mo. Kasi nga short na yung pera mo, no? So, simply stated, yung chance mo na approvean ng bangko, mas mataas. Kasi you proved na yung risk na kinuha mo is 7 million of the 10 million na purchase price ng house and lot. So, ang kailangan mo lang 3 million na lang. Malamang papayagan ng bangko yon. Pag binaliktad natin yung situation, ang house and lot, let's say, is worth 10 million. Magkano yung personal money mo willing na ibayad mo sa seller ng house and lot? Ang binigay mo, sabihin natin, mga 2 million lang. Tapos yung 8 million, utangin mo na lang. In that sense, titid na ng bangko. Parang walang commitment tong umuutang na to. Pag gagawin niya, after few months, ibibenta yung property. Taking advantage of the loan na in-offer ng bangko. Yun ang concept ng collateral. So, tinitignan ng bangko to. And finally, conditions. Conditions or restrictions naman to. From your paying capacity, from your character, titignan yun ni bangko what will work best from them. So, ano nga ba tong loan na ibibigay natin sa kanya? Term loan ba? Installment loan ba? Pag term or installment loan, ilang years? Ano yung interest natin? Fluctuating ba? Or fixed na interest rate? Conditions na yon. As well as what? Ito yung tinatawag natin na the restrictive covenants. Mga bawal. So example, pag corporation yung pinautang niya, restrictive covenant is bawal ka magbenta ng property. Bawal ka mag-declare ng dividends. Bawal umutang without their approval. Those are restrictive covenants, also known as the conditions. Guys, ganito. Pag tayo nagpautang, pinaka-importante sa dalawa is extension of credit policies. Extension of credit policies will determine your collection in the future. Pag very poor ang extension of credit policies mo, mahihirapan ka sa collection mo sa future. So, ibig sabihin nun, ang root cause ng problem natin, nagkamali ka ng pinautangan, kaya nahihirapan ka mangolekta. So, simply stated, before you extend credit, Pag-aralan mo maigi yung pinapautangan mo. Now, question. It is inevitable na kailangan natin magpautang. Ang question lang doon is up to what level na magpapautang tayo. Guys, this is decision making. There's always a trade-off. Ano yung trade-off nun? Pag nagpautang tayo, tataas ang ating profits definitely. But every time na magpautang tayo, there's a trade-off. May related cost. Extending credit, basically, again, is a cost-benefit analysis. It's a cost-benefit analysis. And up to what level of sales is tolerable? That is the point wherein MR is equal to MC. Tatawid na tayo sa concepts mo ng economics. Sa concepts ng economics, kahit anong market structure ka, monopoly, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, or yung isa, okay, the cartels, oligopolies. Simply stated, kahit anong market structure, ang profit maximization mo is always MR is equal to MC. Marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. And you will easily understand that using this graph. Okay, ito yung reason kung bakit nilagay ko dito. Guys, nandito kasi yan. Di ba loss area to? Palitan natin ng kulay. Gamitan natin ng red. Okay, loss area. Loss area. Tapos ito naman, ito, loss area din yan. Tama? Loss area din. Tapos green. Gamitan natin ng green. This is the profit area naman. Okay, so guys, profit area yan ha. Question is, nasaan ang MR is equal to MC? MR is equal to MC is the point wherein the total revenue is farthest the total cost. Ito yun. At this point, ang tawag natin dyan, Zmax. What is meant by Zmax? In the field of mathematics, Z denotes profits. X is quantity, Y is cost, Z is profits. Ito, yung gap na pinakamalaking yan is the point wherein the profits is at its maximum. Kaya tinawag na Zmax. Ilan kaya yung sales natin? This is known as MR is equal to MC. Yung point na yan. Nandito ka na. If your sales level, example yung sales level natin nandito pa lang, ibig sabihin nun, kulang pa yung extension of credit mo. Kulang pa yung pinautangan mo. Anong gagawin mo? Magpautang ka pa na mas marami. Para pag nagpautang ka na mas marami, what happens? Tataas pa yung profits natin. Marginal revenues is still greater than the marginal cost. Or pag nag-equal na yan, optimum levels na to. Pero what happens if you sell more? Pag nagbenta ka pa ng mas marami beyond MR is equal to MC, what will happen to profits? They will start to decline. Babagsak na yan. Masama, pag sumobra yung sales mo, sumobra yung ating credit sales, instead na profit, meron na tayo nasa na tayo? Nasa loss area na tayo. Be careful. Okay, be careful. Ang objective natin as financial manager when managing receivables is to attain this sales level. The point wherein MR is equal to MC, marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Yan ang strategy ng cash management. Okay, now, ng receivables management. What are the credit terms? Ito naman yung credit terms natin. Again, alam natin to. Hanggang mamaya to sa short-term financing, may lalabas ulit to. We have 2 over 10 and 30, which is the most common. So, what are the major factors that will affect credit terms? The discount period. Okay, what's the discount period? Ito, di ba? So, ito na yung later on. Ito na yung free trade credit. Yan yon. The cash discount. Ito naman, which is the financing cost pagdating sa short-term financing. Okay, does the cash discount the credit period? Ito naman si credit period natin. And meron pang-apat. What is the fourth one? The credit limits. All of this, pagdating sa receivables management, we manipulate them. It is known as relaxing the credit standards. What is relaxing the credit standards? Taasan mo to. Pati to, extend mo. Pati to, extend mo rin si credit limit. Relaxing the credit standards na yan. But every time na mag-relax tayo ng credit standard, there's always a trade-off. And this is what happens. So guys, if you notice, there's only one advantage lang. Nag-increase ang credit sales. If credit sales will increase, what happens? It simply means that gross profit and net income will also increase. Yun ang advantage niya. Disadvantages, nagkaroon tayo ng accounts receivable. If accounts receivable will increase, tied up cash na naman yan, di ba? Problema na naman yan. Problema na naman natin na kolektahin. Failure to collect receivables will result to bad debts. Ito yun. May bad debts na naman tayo. Sakit na naman sa ulo. In your desire to collect receivables, kailangan mong magbayad, mag-hire ng isang individual person or many or group of individuals simply to collect your receivables. Ang tawag natin sa kanila, account manager. Ang tawag natin sa kanila. Guys, pag meron job opening, tapos nakalagay doon, wanted, account managers. Ang trabaho nun, taga-kolekta ng receivables. Okay, pinaganda lang yung pangalan niya. Aside from that, guys, meron pa, increase in opportunity cost and incremental investment in receivables. Simply stated, because yung cash natin na ipit sa accounts receivable, it becomes idle cash. Idle money na instead na na-deposit sana natin sa short-term investments, nandun lang siya, non-productive asset na siya. Naipit sa accounts receivable. It creates an opportunity cost. Ito yun, opportunity cost and incremental investment in receivables. And finally, increase in sales discounts. Okay? So lahat to, puro disadvantage. Isa lang yung advantage natin. Increase in credit sales lang. Yan, ang ganda ng drawing, no? Parang Christmas. Okay? Red and green. Ayan, so malapit number months. Anyway, ito yung effect for each manipulation. Ito yung effect niya. If increase the credit period, what is the effect? Ang effect niya, sales volume will increase, which is good for us. Effect on profits. Disadvantage. Pag nag-increase ang credit period natin, example from 30 days, ginawa nating 40, ito yung disadvantages. Accounts receivable will increase, including the bad debts will likewise increase. Ito iniiwasan natin. Be careful with this. Guys, for now, since this is limited kasi oras natin, 2 hours lang, I cannot give you a concrete example kasi ang lalim ng computations nito. Simply stated, yung concepts mo na yung kailangan nating absorb. Meron pa isa, actually 4 to. Increase in discount period. What's discount period? Example, 2 over 10. Ginawa nating 2 over 15 days. Discount period. Ano yung advantages niya? Ito. Sales volume will increase, which is advantageous to us. Non-discount takers taking discounts. Ayan, taking discounts, bayad sila kaagad, which is good for us, no? So good for us. Discount taking, receivables paying later. Ito na. Since tinaasan mo yung discount period mo, in-extend natin ang discount period, what happens? They will delay. Instead na babayaran ka agad-agad, they will delay the payment. They will take advantage of the float. So ito, what happens to profits? Again, it will decrease. And syempre, what happens sa our bad debts? Yung bad debts natin will, again, if bad debts will, since nagbigay ka ng discount, ibig sabihin nun, bayad sila kaagad, decrease in receivables, what happens? Chances are profits will also increase. Okay? Next, increase in cash discount. Dati 2% lang. Ginawa mong 4%, times to mo yung discount. What happened? Again, it will entice customers to buy from you. Sales volume will increase, gross profit and net income again will increase. Non-discount takers taking discounts. Okay, so they will no longer what? They will no longer take the discounts. Again, what happens? Increase in profit na naman. Ganun din to. New receivables due to new customers. They will take the discount naman, kabaliktaran naman. Again, what happens? It will now decrease. Bad debts. Dumami ang receivables, dumami receivables, lower ang profits. Okay, so guys, again, concept muna ha. Concept muna. Now, if you wish to collect your receivables, you have to speed up. Diba? As much as possible, sabi natin kanina, minimize the collection float, collect as fast as possible. Ito na yung debt collection policies. Paano natin ginagawa yon? Number 1 is the use of demand letters. Diba? Sa business law, first oral, mabait ka pa sa oral, no? Kinakausap mo pa medyo malumanay pa usapan nyo. Tapos hindi pa rin nagbayad, what happens? You level up your game. Bigyan mo na siya ng Ito. Telephone call ka muna, di ba? Telephone call, kausapin mo muna. Tapos nung telephone call, hindi pa rin siya nagbayad, what happens? Bigyan mo na ng letter. Bigyan mo ng letter. Kadalasan, ang letter na to, ginagawa to ng company, ng legal officer natin. Demand letter na yon. Despite the demand letter, hindi pa rin siya nagbayad, what do you do? Personal visit na. O, di ba? Pinuntahan mo na. Guys, meron na ba kayong pinautang na pinuntahan nyo na? Personal visit para lang makolekta. Malamang nung umuutang sa'yo, ang bait-bait. Nung nangongolekta ka na, parang ikaw pa yung may kasalanan at ikaw yung nangongolekta. It happens. Okay? Personal visits. Ito na, no? Personal visit. Hindi pa rin pumwede. Pumunta ka na sa collection agency. Alam mo yung factoring na tinatawag? Factoring of receivables. Yon. Ibenta mo na yung receivable sa collecting agency. That's factoring of receivables. So the use of collection agencies. Hindi rin kinaya ni collection agency. Last recourse, legal action na. Kaya di ba nauuso ang post-dated checks? Ang ano gamit ng post-dated checks? We use the judicial system for us to collect our receivables. Kaya tuloy, nagkaroon tayo ng BP22. Anti-bouncing checks law. Mahal yun, ha? Malaki ang penalty for every bouncing check. Ito yun, mag-legal action ka na. Last recourse. Okay, last recourse. Pero kung minsan, guys, kahit meron ng legal action, hindi pa rin magbabayad yan. So what do we do? Kung minsan, restructuring na lang eh. Mas madali pa kausapin pag nag-restructuring na lang tayo. Kasi pag restructuring, simply stated is forgoing of interest, tapos extending the payment, di ba? Pwede pa yun. Instead of legal action, kasi talo ka rin eh. Pag nag-legal action ka, yung collection, yung expenses mo, ganun din. So, try doing restructuring muna. Those are the collection policies. And these are the effects of very stringent collection policies. What happens? Alam nila stricto What happens? Your sales volume, it may decrease. Pwede. Depende sa reaction ng customers mo. Accounts receivable. Since very aggressive ka sa collection mo, your receivables will now decrease. Lower opportunity cost. Meron ka excess cash invest. Pag in-invest mo siya, again, it will generate us earnings. Bad debts, kinolekta mo, di ba? So decrease. Effect on profits will increase. Collection expense though will again increase. Profits will now decrease. So guys, kanina, binigyan kita ng mga effects na to, di ba? Binigyan kita. Ang question lang doon is, when are you going to push through with these strategies? Kailan mo gagawin tong mga to? This is trade-off. This is cost-benefit analysis. As long as the benefits or the increase in income is greater than the related cost, you proceed with the strategy. Otherwise, pag mas malaki pa rin yung collection cost mo or yung cost incurred mo kaysa sa increase in profits, wag na lang. Talo ka. Simply stated, alin dapat ang i-correct natin? Ang i-correct mo is ganun sabi ko sa inyo kanina, number 1, doon sa extension of credit policies mo. The reason kung bakit nahirapan kang makolekta is dahil nagkamali ka ng pinautangan. Okay, so yun lang naman yun. Okay, next, inventory. Inventory management tayo. Sa inventory management, ganito problema natin sa inventory management. Simple. Average or shortage of inventories lang. And what are the two reasons kung bakit nagkaroon ng average or shortage of inventories? First reason, meron tayong supplier. Yung supplier natin, kung minsan, hindi dumarating on time yung order natin sa kanya. That's the first reason. Nagkakaroon ng average or shortage. Meron pa. Another reason, yung available na safety stocks natin. Yung available na safety stocks natin, kung minsan, kulang or sobra. So as financial manager, ano ulit ang pinaka-role natin? Ang role mo is to balance the availability of inventories without sacrificing yung related cost niya. So ito na naman sa inventory management. So do I need more inventories? What is enough, di ba? What is enough inventories? What is too much? Ano kaya ang kulang pa? And what are the indicators? So ganito, what is your role? Dalawa. To determine the proper order size. What is this order size? Pag sinabi nating order size, every time na mag-place ka ng order, ilang units dapat pag namili tayo kay supplier. Dapat hindi pwedeng tinitignan natin yung ordering cost at saka yung carrying cost niya. If you have too much, pag masyadong mataas yung inventory orders natin, we will suffer on warehousing cost. Pag kokonti naman ang inventories natin, we will suffer on ordering naman. Kasi laging naubos. Madalas yung orders mo tuloy. So proper order size. Yan ang first na concern natin. Your second concern is the optimal safety stock. What is optimum safety stock naman? What is a proper safety stock level? Okay, eto siya. What are the factors that will affect your decision? Ang factors that will affect your decision are number one, that is acquisition cost and the quantity discounts. Unfortunately for now, ang pwede lang natin i-manipulate is only the acquisition cost lang. Ito lang muna. Because the acquisition cost at times will dictate yung carrying cost natin. For now, we cannot discuss quantity discounts. Iba kasi ang kwento. Iba ang kwento ng quantity discount analysis sa inventory management. Guys, alam mo yung tinuturo natin sa inyo na inventory management in accounting is only the tip of the iceberg of inventory management. Ang inventory management, malalim na discussion yan. Meron tayong discount models, meron tayong breakpoint models. Marami yan. Tapos ang assumption natin sa accounting, di ba linear assumptions lang? Pagdating mo ng in-depth discussion of inventories under production management, meron pa tayong may curvilinear analysis pa doon. May probability analysis. Dami. So, kumbaga, sa accounting, yung pinag-aaralan natin, madali pa to. Okay, madali pa to. Kasi linear assumptions lang siya. Wala pa tayong Z values, wala pang probability analysis. Madali pa lang to. We also have ordering cost. What is ordering cost again? That's the cost of placing the order. Tinitingnan natin yan. Ganito yan, Ang ordering cost. If our order size is high, mataas ang order size natin. Meaning, ang mangyari doon is bihirang-bihira tayo mag-order. Okay, madalang yung order natin kasi we purchase by large quantities. We will save on ordering cost. But, pag ang order size natin naman is patumpik-tumpik lang, yun ang problema. No? Mangyari doon, mataas ang ordering cost natin, which is true under just-in-time systems. Yun. So, mamaya, papasadaan din natin si just-in-time. On the other hand, meron tayong tinatawag na holding cost. If you notice, ang term na ginamit ko is holding cost, also known as carrying cost. Kadalasan sa accounting, ang lagi nating ginagamit na terminology is carrying cost. All other fields, believe me guys, all other fields, ang tawag nila holding cost. Tayo lang sa accounting ang gumagamit ng term na carrying cost, which is warehousing cost, storage cost, cost of preserving the inventories. Tayo lang gumagamit nito. Ang carrying cost naman guys, ganito. The higher the order size, the higher the carrying cost. The lower the order size, the lower the warehousing cost. Meron pa, yung safety stock natin. The higher the safety stock, the higher the holding cost. The lower the safety stock, the lower the holding cost. Madali lang yan, may graph yan mamaya. Madali siya intindihin. What is stock out naman? Guys, ang stock out naman, nabusan ka ng inventories. This is very susceptible for just-in-time inventory models. Di ba? Sa just-in-time, risky rin eh. Inventories will arrive just-in-time as is it needed for production, and the finished goods will be delivered just-in-time as needed by the customer. Very risky yun. Napakataas ang chance mo na magkaroon ka ng stock out cost. This is the cost incurred for not having enough inventories. Ito problema ng just-in-time tong dalawang to. Possibly high stock out cost and possibly high ordering cost. Pero guys, that's the modern, May strategy kasi si just-in-time. Anyway, under strategic cost management naman yun. And also the cost of capital. What is cost of capital? Guys, simple. Pag ang inventories, pag ang pera natin naipit sa inventories, what happens? Pag naipit sa inventories, may opportunity cost ka na naman doon. The investment in inventories, the money that is tied up with inventories, creates a possible opportunity cost. What if yung pera na yon in the form of cash? Tapos in-invest na lang natin siya. Di nag-earn ka pa ng money. Yun ang tinatawag na cost of capital. It is the opportunity cost on money tied up with inventories. Okay? This is the behavior of inventories. Guys, this is merchandising lang. Merchandising lang to. Iba ang kwento ni manufacturing firm. Ang EOQ na dinidiscuss natin sa inyo is only applicable for merchandising firms lang. Purchase ka ng inventories, benta, deplete, di ba? Purchase ng inventories, benta, tapos deplete na naman. Ganon kasimple pagdating sa merchandising firms. Pero what if dapat dito dumating na. Okay, what if wala tong area na yan? Nawawala yan. What if at this point, if your inventories will not arrive on time, what happens? Buti na lang may safety stock ka. Because the safety stock will serve as a buffer against contingencies. In the event that the inventories will not arrive on time, meron ka pang gagamitin, which is not the safety stocks. Yon, meron pa. Problem is, paano pag wala tong safety stock na yan? Anong gagawin mo? Nag-place ka ng order at this point, at the 20th day, it should arrive. Problem is, it did not arrive on time. Dumating siya after, sabihin natin, 24th day na. What happens during this period? Stock out cost ka. Yun ang iniiwasan natin. What is the objective of inventory management? Ang objective na inventory management is to determine this size. Etong size na yan. Para eksakto na pag na-zero out na, you are now saving on what? Nakatipid ka na sa carrying cost at saka ordering cost, tapos hindi pa na short yung inventories natin. Kaya ang concern natin sa inventory management, dalawa. Determine the order size, number 1, and number 2, the optimum safety stock level. Dalawa yung concern natin. Now, eto siya, EOQ. Okay, so guys, EOQ. What is EOQ? So guys, ganito. Ang solution ng order size is determined using economic order quantity, EOQ. Ano naman ang solution ng safety stock? Ang solution ng safety stock, Monte Carlo simulation. That's Monte Carlo simulation of quantitative techniques. Okay, Monte Carlo simulation ng quantitative techniques. Ito yon. So concentrate tayo sa dalawang to. Now, I show you the logic behind. Ang logic nito, guys, ganito kasi cost optimization to. This is now the origins of the EOQ equation. There are times na we tend to memorize. We tend to memorize the EOQ equation. Guys, in all honesty, when I took my board exam, ako rin nag-memorize din ako ng EOQ. Tapos naisip ko, bakit kaya ganun? CPA na ako nun. Okay, matagal na akong CPA tapos nag-start na rin ako magturo. Tapos naisip ko, bakit kaya ganun yung formula ng EOQ? I was attending a graduation rites. Tapos sa graduation rites na yan, I got bored. Tapos naisip ko, bakit kaya ganun yung EOQ equation? Bakit kaya may square root? Bakit may 2? Okay? What's weird? Sabi ko, so habang nagmamarch sila, habang nagpapalakpakan sila, yung program hawak ko, I am doodling. Nagdoodle ako. Pinag-aaralan ko the EOQ equation. After the graduation, alam ko na yung origins ni EOQ. Okay? So, dahil out of all the curiosities lang, ang concept lang nun is equal tong dalawang to. The annual carrying cost is equal to the annual ordering cost at EOQ because of what is known as cost optimization. Ano ibig sabihin ng cost optimization? You optimize the cost. Pag yung dalawang cost na to na equal mo yan, cost optimization na siya. So it started with this one. This is the formula of annual carrying cost. Order size divided by 2 is average inventories. Average inventories multiplied with the carrying cost per unit is the annual carrying cost. Yung annual ordering cost naman natin is annual usage divided by order size will give us the number of orders in a year. Number of orders in a year multiplied with the cost per order is the annual ordering cost. So, ganito yan. Okay, guys, ganito. From the formula, equate mo lang siya. Tapos, di ba, sa mathematics, merong 1 doon. Tama? Meron siyang 1. So, what do you do? I-simplify mo, i-multiply mo. Multiply mo muna yan. So, order size times carrying cost per unit divided by 2. Ito naman, annual usage times the cost per order divided by order size times 1. Di ba? Simplify muna. Pag na-simplify na natin to, what will you do next? You cross-multiply. Okay, cross-multiply. Pagka cross-multiply natin, what happens? Order size times carrying cost per unit. 2 times annual usage times cost per order. Ayun. So, ito na ngayon yung panibagong equation natin. Then, what will you do? Okay, next na gagawin natin, since we are computing for the order size, you divide both equations with carrying cost per unit. Divide mo. Kaya ito na siya. Tama? Order size times carrying cost. Ito, pagka-divide, cancel mo na siya. Tanggal na. Ano na iwan sa'yo? Order size times order size is order size squared. Is equal to 2 times annual usage times cost per order divided by carrying cost per unit. Ito na yung itsura niya ngayon. Tama? Order size times order size is order size squared. Para matanggal yung squared, anong gagawin mo? You square root the equation. Para matanggal yung squared. Kaya what is the EOQ formula? EOQ is equal to 2 times annual demand or annual usage times cost per order divided by annual holding cost or annual carrying cost. Okay, yun ang origins ng EOQ formula. Don't worry guys, hindi naman itatanong sa inyo sa board exam, how did we derive the EOQ formula? Walang ganun. Okay, ano lang meron sa exams? Mag-compute ng EOQ. Pero at least now, na nakita mo na yung logic kung saan nanggaling yung formula na yan, hindi ka na magme-memorize. Alam mo na yung concept behind the equation. Okay? Guys, presented in the graph, ganito itsura niya. This is holding cost or this is the carrying cost. Anong sabi natin kanina? The greater the order size, the greater the order size, the higher the total carrying cost. The lower the order size, the lower the carrying cost. Meaning it is directly related. In contrast, ang ordering cost naman is inversely correlated. It is inverse because ito, statistics na naman, ano? Algebra and everything. Ang ordering cost naman, guys, if you order by large quantities, ayan, by large quantities, if you order by large quantities, ang cost mo naman ay mababa lang. In contrast, pag nga ating, ito. If you order by large quantities, ang cost mo mababa lang. In contrast, if you order naman by small quantities, what will happen to our annual cost? Tumataas naman yon. So bottom line guys, presented in a graph, pag tinotal cost na natin yan, ito na yung total cost associated with inventories. The point wherein they will intersect is the point wherein, that is the point wherein the carrying cost is equal to the ordering cost. And yan yung kinocompute natin. Ito si EOQ. Okay? So kanina, nakita mo yung formula. Nakita mo yung origins niya. Wait, balikan natin. Ito. Diba? Yan yung pinaka-concept natin. Kaya naging ganito yung itsura niya. Yung ending ng formula niya, naging ganito siya. Now, mas lalo mong maintindihan, siyang naintindihan nung nakita mo na yung graphical representation niya. Na ito pala yung kinocompute mo. Which is now the EOQ. Which is now the concept of cost optimization. Cost optimization, mag-i-equal yung dalawang cost elements natin. Okay? Sana nadagdagan yung kaalaman mo. Sana nabawasan yung minememorize mo. Reorder point is a level of inventories that indicates an order should be placed. Failure to place an order at this point may result to stoppage of operations. Okay? So ito naman guys, ang reorder point. Ito na yung kumbaga go signal na tatawagan mo na si supplier, mag-order ka na ng goods, i-deliver na niya sa'yo. So, dalawa ang reorder point natin without safety stock and order point with safety stock. Siyempre, malalaman natin na anong kinocompute mo, depende sa given, di ba? Sasabihin din naman sa atin kung meron siya or wala siyang safety stocks. So pag without safety stock, normal lead time usage lang yon. Pero pag meron siyang safety stock, plus the safety stock lang. Or other equation, maximum lead time times the average daily usage. Okay, so ganun lang kadali yan. Next, illustration. X company would like to reduce its inventory cost by determining the optimal number of units obtained per order. Following info were gathered in relation to its product. So meron tayong annual demand, ordering cost, carrying cost, working days per year, lead time at saka safety stocks. Ito na naman yung working days per year, no? So 320 working days. Yon. So EOQ, substitute lang 2 times 40,000, which is your annual usage, times 120. What is 120? That's the ordering cost. Carrying cost naman natin ay 15 cents. So pag tinotal natin, 8,000 units lang yon. Now, total ordering cost naman. Diba? Ito yung formula na bigyan natin sa kanina. Annual usage over order size times cost per order. Pag sinubstitute natin, ang average inventories natin is 20,000 times 120 will give us what? Sorry. Total ordering cost, number of orders is 5. 5 times. 5 times in a year times 120 will give us 600. In contrast, yung carrying cost naman natin, 8,000 EOQ divided by 2 average inventories 4,000 times 15 cents again is also equal to 600. Guys, if you notice, nag-equal si total ordering at saka si total carrying. Kasi nga cost optimization siya. Kaya ang total nito, 1,200. What is 1,200? 1,200 is the lowest possible total of ordering cost and carrying cost. Why? So guys, tandaan nyo to ha. Balik ko saglit sa graph para mas ma-explain natin maigi. Ito, sana si graph natin. Ito, balik tayo dito. Ito kanina, yung na-compute natin na 8,000 units. If you, so example, ito sa 8,000, lagay lang natin ha, yan sa 8,000 units. If you purchase more than 8,000 units, what will happen? Ang mangyayari doon, you will save on ordering cost. Makakatipid ka. Because as you purchase by large quantities, mas madalang ang pag-purchase natin, lowering the ordering cost. Pero as you increase your quantity, warehousing will increase. Mas mataas ngayon ang holding cost, di ba? So magkano na total cost mo? Tumaas na. In contrast, gamit tayo ng ibang kulay. No? In contrast, what if binawasan natin, nilower natin yung order size. Instead na 8,000, ginawa natin, let's say, about 5,000. Mababa order size. You will save on warehousing. Mababa holding cost. Pero, mas madalas naman tayo mag-place ng order. What will happen to the ordering cost? Mas mataas na siya ngayon. So, pag tinotal cost na natin to, what happens? Mataas na si total cost mo. Napagasto ka ulit. So if you want to optimize, determine the lowest possible total of carrying and ordering cost, dito ka sa EOQ. Okay? Yan ang visual analysis ng EOQ. So sana naintindihan mo yung concept ng EOQ. Yan siya. Okay, tuloy natin. So ordering cost and carrying cost, we are done with that. So pati yung total niya. Now, if they will ask you, ilang beses sa isang taon tayo mag-place ng order using EOQ. You need 40,000, di ba? At 8,000 per order, 5 beses sa isang taon tayo bibili. In contrast, time interval naman. We have 320 working days in a year and 5 orders in a year. Okay, 5 beses. So, ibig sabihin every 2 months. After every 2 months, kailangan natin tawagan si supplier. Yan ang time interval. And we also have what? Normal lead time usage is 5 days na lead time multiply with 125 units is 625 units is the normal lead time usage. Reorder point, guys, meron siyang safety stock, di ba? What is the order point? That is normal lead time usage plus safety stock. May binigay siya this hard safety stock of the 50. So, reorder point natin, 875 units. Yun. So, guys, maraming ganito sa exams. Marami. Simple computations. Average daily usage, minsan kailangan natin to para ma-compute natin yung average age of inventories. Ginagamit natin to. So annual usage divided by working days, that's what? That's 40,000 divided by 320. Average daily usage is 125. Kaya kanina, ito yun eh. Ito yun. Yung sa safety stock natin. Safety stock is good for how many days? Safety stock is good for 2 days with 125 daily usage. Yun. So, optimum safety stock. Ito na yung example ng optimum safety stock. When I took my exam, meron to. Tapos, CMA meron din to. Optimum safety stock. Yun na naman yung concern natin. Pag meron tayong safety stock, pag masyadong mataas ang safety stock, we are spending on carrying cost. Pero, pag mababa naman yung safety stock natin, we will be spending on stock out cost. So ano naman ang concern natin sa safety stock? We try to balance incremental carrying cost of the safety stock with the associated stock out cost. Ang problema, ito yung problema. Pagdating sa stock out cost, this is beyond our control. Kasi ang stock out depende yan kay supplier. So guys, ganito. Present ko sa graph saglit ha. Dalawang cost associated. Ito si safety stock mo. Pag ang safety stock natin mataas din ang carrying cost. Pag mababa ang safety stock, mababa rin ang carrying cost. Simply stated again, this is the behavior of carrying cost. Now, how about C? Again, that is Y and this is X. Paano naman yung kwento ni stock out cost? Ang stock out cost is the cost of not having enough inventories. Pag mataas ang safety stock natin, ang chances of having stock outs mababa lang. So if your safety stock is high in quantity, mababa lang yung chance na magkaroon tayo ng stock outs. In contrast, pag kokonti lang ang safety stock natin, mataas ang chance na magkaroon tayo ng stock outs. Ito. So again guys, if you notice, the expected value of stock out is inversely related with the level of safety stock. So that is carrying cost, this is stock out cost. So ano total cost natin? Familiar na graph. Yan na naman ang total cost natin. Total cost of having the safety stocks. Nandito ka. So ano objective natin? Objective natin is to determine the lowest possible total of the stock out cost and the carrying cost. Problem is, ang stock out cost natin is governed by probabilities. Kasi nga beyond our control lang. Kaya anong method ang gagamitin natin? May nabanggit ako sa inyo kanina, Monte Carlo simulation. Monte Carlo simulation is a quantitative technique that tries to estimate safety stock using probabilities. Kaya mag-probability analysis tayo. Bakit siya tinawag na simulation? Tinawag na simulation kasi trial and error. Hahanapin lang natin yung pinakamalapit lang. Trial and error because this is beyond our control. Hindi natin makontrol lahat yon. So guys, ano lang gagawin natin dito? Its stock out will cost 600. The carrying cost of each unit of safety stock is 8. And it will be ordered 5 times a year. So guys, simple, 5 times 600. Ang total na possible na stock out natin, 5 times 600 is 3,000. Ang total na possible na stock out cost natin. Pero limited siya ng mga probabilities na to. Applier skills in expected value analysis. Tapos, yung incremental safety stock naman natin, incremental cost, carrying cost of the safety stock, itong 8 pesos na yan, i-multiply natin dito sa level of safety stock. Hahanapin natin sa combinations na to, hahanapin natin ang pinakamababa, which is now this one. Using Monte Carlo simulation, incremental carrying cost is the safety stock times carrying cost per unit, expected vol plus, ito yan, yun yung first na equation natin to compute total cost, kailangan natin sa incremental carrying cost. And the second equation na kailangan natin is the expected value of the stock outs by simply multiplying the annual stock out cost with the related probability of the stock out. Ayun lang naman. Para makuha natin expected value of stock outs. Pag sinubstitute natin sa given formula, ito na siya. So how did we get incremental carrying costs? Guys, simple example lang. 8 times 15 8 times 25, 8 times 35, 8 times 75. Para makuha natin itong amounts na to. Guys, if you notice, okay, balik tayo saglit ha. If you notice, dito, mababa yung units niya. 15 units lang. Ibig sabihin nun, pag 15 units lang to, makakatipid ka sa carrying cost. Pag mataas naman yung safety stock mo, mapapagasto tayo sa carrying cost. Kaya if you notice, ito yung behavior niya. Okay? It's directly related to direct relationship sa carrying cost. Di ba sa graph kanina, pag carrying cost, it is direct relationship. Carrying cost. In contrast, what happens to the stock out cost naman? The higher the safety stocks, the lower the chances of having stock outs. Okay, ito, sample. Ito, ilan ang safety stock natin dito? 15 lang. Mataas ang chance ng stock out. Ito naman 75. Napakarami. Mababa ang chance ng stock out. Yon. So again, minultiply lang yon. 3,000 times the related probabilities. 3,000 at 35%, 3,000 at 25%, at 10 and at 5%. Para ma-compute natin itong expected value of stock outs. Presented in a graph, inverse relationship, stock out cost. Yun ang stock out cost mo. Ito si total cost. Ito si total cost natin. Now, pag ang safety stock natin, ay kokonti lang. Ito, example, ito kokonti lang, ano? What happens? Mababa ang carrying cost. Gamit tayo ng ibang color. Mababa ang carrying cost. If your safety stock is low, mababa lang yung carrying cost. Pero mapapagasto ka naman sa stock out cost, which is this one, visible sa behavior na to. If your safety stock naman is very high, parang ito, sa number 4, what happens? Mataas. Ang carrying cost mo mataas din, nandito ka. Pero what happens naman to your stock out cost? Mababa naman. Ito naman siya, mababa lang. Hindi pwedeng extremes. Hindi pwedeng kokonti lang, hindi pwedeng napakarami. It should be in between. And we have two in-betweens, which is now, ilan ba ito kanina? Which is 25 and 35. Hindi pwede si 15, hindi pwede si 75. You're now between 25 and 35. I'm sorry. Ito. Nandito ka lang sa dalawan to. Now choose the one which will result to the lowest. So among the possible combinations, the best combination is option number 3. It will give you the lowest possible total cost associated with safety stocks. So at this point, malamang nandito na to. That's 25, di ba? Malamang nandito yan. Nandito. Ayun. Tapos eventually, what will happen? Tataas na ulit siya, nandito na. At 35, malamang nandito na si 35. Nandito na. Yan ang concept ng safety stocks. Presented again in a problem and presented in a graph. Now, if you want, you can also use just-in-time systems. Ang concept ng just-in-time is more of production efficiency using the U production cells. Yung concept ng U production cells of just-in-time and breaking down natin si traditional na production methods. Okay? Just-in-time na yun. Anyway, ang just-in-time full discussion nito is under cost accounting, under strategic cost management. Okay guys, hindi pa tayo tapos. Ayan. So, I also have to teach you itong short-term financing natin. So, kailangan ko ituro sa inyo to. So, short-term financing. Itong short-term financing naman na to, di ba kasi current working capital tayo? Ayun. So, dapat meron din. Siguro mga few minutes to guys, a few minutes. Kasi I have to teach you the concepts eh. Importante yung concepts natin. So, definition, short-term finance refers to financing is for the period of time that is within 1 year. Di ba kanina meron tayong seasonal na working capital? Yun ang fina-finance natin dito. It's the seasonal working capital. So ito siya, for seasonal fluctuations, the current assets. Guys, dalawa ang interest natin. Meron tayong nominal rate, which also known as the coupon rate. Pero sa short-term financing, kadalasan, ang kailangan natin doon is the effective rate. Ito yun. So between the two, Kadalasan sa board exams, both CPA and CMA, ito ang kailangan nating i-master, the effective rate. Guys, logic and common sense na naman tayo. Ang nominal rate is simply computed as interest divided by principal ay times time is equal to the nominal rate. Pagdating sa effective rate, ang counterpart lang nito is financing cost. What is meant by financing cost? Depende sa source of financing. Pag ang source of financing natin ay spontaneous sources, it is the discount that is given up, ang financing cost mo. Pag ang source of financing naman natin is from borrowed funds, yung interest na binayaran natin, flotation cost na binayaran natin, origination fees ang tawag nyo sa kanya sa financial accounting. Flotation cost naman sa atin, part of financing cost yon. Pag secured, yung binayaran natin para sa factor, sa receivables. Pwede rin naman sa inventories, yung kanyang warehousing, again, is part of the financing cost yon. So, depende. Yun ang ina-analyze natin dito. What is the financing cost? Is highly dependent on the source of financing. And pag sa nominal rate, ang ginagamit natin ay principal, pag effective rate, net proceeds lang. Okay, net proceeds lang. Depende na naman sa source of financing. May compensating balance ba? Discounted ba? Yun ang mga tinitignan natin dito. Times time. Pag sa effective rate, annualized financing cost, kino-convert natin to into 1 year. So, 365 divided by the credit period. Now, laging may nagtatanong sa akin, Sir, anong gagamitin natin? 365 ba o 360? Kadalasan ang sagot doon, guys, is bottom line, it should be the same. Kahit 360 or 365, dapat malapit. Kaya lagi kong sagot doon is depende sa given. Kung given 360, gamitin mo 360. Pag 365, gamitin mo 365. Depende sa choices. Pag nag-compute ka ng 360, yun ang lalabas, well and good. Pag wala naman sa 360, mag-compute ka ng 365, tignan mo yung choices. Pero sigurado sa board exams, both CPA and CMA exams, sigurado na hindi pwede na both 36 at saka 365 na ginamit mo, lalabas sa choices. Hindi pwede yon. Isa lang ang pwedeng lumabas. Okay? Now, so later on, ang concern natin is the effective rate. And we also have what? Simple versus compounded. Anong pinagkaiba ng simple? Ang simple simply means sa isang taon, isang beses ka lang umutang. Simple, effective interest na yon. What is meant by compounded naman? Ang compounded naman is every time na mag-mature, yung utang natin, utang ka ulit. Ibig sabihin nun, nauulit-ulit, pautang ka lang ng utang. Guys, be careful because sa field ng financial management, meron silang iba-ibang terms ng ibig sabihin ng nominal rate at saka effective rate. What I am using na terminologies na simple at saka compounded is fitted for the needs of CMA and the CPA exams. Wala kasi tayong sinusundan na standard sa financial management. Kaya at times interchangeable yung terminologies. Depende sa author. Pero ang discussion ko sa inyo is based on the terminologies that is used for both CPA and the CMA exams. Now, what are the sources of short-term financing? Pag sinabi nating unsecured, no collateral. Ganun lang adali yun. Also known as what? Also known as character loans. Tinitingnan lang depending on your credit rating lang. Mahaba ulit ang kwento ng credit rating. That's already part of raising capital of the CMA exams. As well as what? Kadalasan sino ang unsecured? Ang binibigyan nila na unsecured, big firms grant trade credit to customers as a competitive strategy. Sino nagpapautang na unsecured? Nagpapautang, nagbibigay ng credit lines, mga malalaking company. Because they have the capacity, they have the sources. Sino nagte-take advantage ng mga unsecured small companies? Ang tawag natin dito kadalasan, best example of unsecured is the spontaneous source of financing or the trade credit. Ano naman unsecured with collateral? Collateral, dito sa short-term financing, meron tayong dalawa, receivable financing and inventory financing. So anyway, makita natin siya mamaya. So secured, simply stated with collateral, intended to minimize the maturity risk. To make sure na upon settlement, meron tayong pang-settle. Dasyon and pago, session and pago, accounting na naman yon. The types of short-term financing. Okay, unsecured. Ito na si trade credit. Guys, pag umutang ka or nag-purchase tayo ng inventories on account, trade credit yon, that's unsecured. Umutang tayo sa bangko, commercial paper. Nag-issue ka ng certificates of indebtedness para maturing within 1 year. Between 1 day, yes guys, 1 day, up to 270 days, commercial paper na yon. Commercial paper. Pag secured naman, what happens pag secured with collateral? Dalawa. It's either receivable financing or inventory financing. Okay, so guys, eto na. Saglit na lang to. Unsecured sources. Guys, masterin nyo to ha. Masterin nyo to. Both CPA and CMA exams. Dapat alam natin to. Still be computed as, pag spontaneous source, you're giving up trade credit. You give up the percentage discount, which is financing cost, and 100% minus the percentage discount is in fact the counterpart of, yan ang counterpart ng net proceeds. Annualized financing cost times 365 divided by credit period minus discount period. In fact, ano to? Ang counterpart nito, pag tinignan natin, ang counterpart niyan is, ito yan. That's the annualized financing cost. Yun. Okay, so anyway, mas maintindihan mo siya lalo pag pinakita natin yung example. Okay guys, eto muna. You have to understand the concept of what kung anong merong financing cost at saka walang financing cost. Start tayo saglit ng basic. Assuming annual credit purchase is 720, with terms of 210 and 30, the company does not take the discount and pays in 30 days. Compute for total accounts payable. Guys, para maintindihan mo ang concept ng trade credit, intindihin mo muna yung breakdown ng trade payables mo. Break down the accounts payable into free trade credit and non-free trade credit. And then we compute for the effective rate. Okay, applying your concepts, daily credit purchase, di ba 720 annual purchases natin, divided by 360 will give us 2,000 annual, that's daily, daily credit purchase. Di ba? Meron tayong 30 days. Kaya pag minultiply natin to, ang total na accounts payable natin is 60,000. Question, of the 60,000, how much is the costly trade credit? And how much is the free trade credit? Yung first 10 days natin na discount, pag nagbayad tayo within the first 10 days, entitled pa rin tayo sa discount. Wala pang financing cost yon. The first level of accounts payable of 20,000 is known as the free trade credit. Walang financing cost yon. Ang merong financing cost ay the remaining 20 days because you had to use the money for extra 20 days. You had to sacrifice the discount. The discount will become your financing cost. 40,000 of the accounts payable is non-free trade credit, also known as may isang pangalan yan, also known as the costly trade credit. Okay? Ito ang kino-compute natin ng kanyang financing cost. How much is the financing cost of free trade credit? 0. Okay? Parang si Duque. 0, gaganon siya, di ba? Okay, parang ganun lang siya. Ano cases natin? 0, di ba? Ganon siya. Okay, anyway. Ito rin yun. Walang financing cost ang free trade credit. Kaya pag yung problem, sabi niya, compute for the effective rate of the free trade credit. Trick question yun. Kasi ang sagot doon, 0. Ito kino-compute natin. Paano? Okay guys, ganito lang yon. 2, the discount na finargo mo, divided by 100% minus 2%, which is what? Yan ay ating, that is already the net proceeds, times 365 divided by 30 minus 10. So bottom line, what is the 20 days? Di ba guys, yan yung 20 days? Yan yung non-free trade credit na 20 days. Yan lang yung kino-compute natin. Answer, 37.24%. Guys, this is simple. Simple effective interest to. Pag compounded, mas challenging na naman yung computation natin. Hindi kakayanin ng basic calculator. Okay? So, masterin natin yung simple effective interest lang muna. Next, commercial bank loan. Ang commercial bank loan naman, ang logic lang nito guys, numerator is financing cost, denominator is net proceeds. Depende na lang yan. If the loan is discounted, meaning interest is deducted in advance. Depende na lang pa may compensating balance, meaning you have to deduct the compensating balance. Times days in a year divided by days loan is outstanding. In fact, maraming approach to. Meron tayong percentage approach, meron tayong peso or dollar approach. Depende sa problem. So illustration, simple illustration lang. Pero may mas malalim pa to. Principal, okay, that's 100, nominal rate and period, then compensating balance requirement. So what happens? So guys, 120 days to ha. Be careful. Pag binigyan ka ng nominal rate, it is always assumed problem is silent. Good for 1 year lagi yan. Okay, good for 1 year. Basta binigyan tayo ng nominal rate tapos silent si problem. Ibig sabihin nun, pag nag-compute tayo mamaya ng interest, i-proporate natin yan sa 120 days. Okay? Discounted and with compute for the effective rate, assuming it is discounted and with compensating balance. So how did we get the 4,000 guys? Multiply lang 100,000 times 12% times 120 over 360 para makuha natin itong 4,000 na yun. Divided by 100,000 since discounted siya, you have to deduct the interest in advance. 8% ang compensating balance. 8% of 100 is 8,000. Annualized financing cost times 60 over 120. Ito yung peso or dollar approach na tinatawag natin. Pwede mo rin siyang gamitan ng percentage approach. Pag percentage naman, prorated, if 12% is good for 1 year, is ibig sabihin nun, 1% per month. 1% per month, ilang months ang 120 days? 4 months, di ba? Kaya times 4 will give us what? Kaya 4%. Ayun. So ito tinatawag natin na percentage approach. Pwede rin to. Ang question ngayon doon is, sir, kailan ko gagamitin ang peso? Kailan ko gagamitin ang percentage approach? Ang sagot doon, depende. Depende sa problem. May mga problems na peso approach lang, lalo na pag meron na siyang binigay na existing compensating balance. Meron din ng mga problems na mas mabilis pag ginamitan mo ng percentage approach. So, depende yan. Doon na naman papasok yung skill mo na magko-compute. Ano ang appropriate sa given situation na yan. Okay? So, ito siya. Pareho lang. Now, discounted but without compensating balance. Guys, if you notice, ano lang nawala dito? Tinanggal lang natin tong 8,000 na compensating kasi nga discounted lang siya. Tama? Discounted but without compensating balance. Ito na yon, 12.5%. And simple interest. What is meant by simple interest? Guys, pag sinabing simple interest, it simply means that the interest is not deducted in advance. Pag simple interest, ang payment na interest natin is only at the end of the period lang. It's not yet deducted. Kaya if you notice, simple interest but with compensating balance, nawawalan ngayon dito si 4%. Ang binawas natin si compensating balance lang. Times is 60 over 120 is 13.04. Okay, 13.04. And the last one, simple interest without compensating balance. Guys, if that is the situation, simple interest na nga siya tapos wala pang compensating balance, the nominal rate is now equal to the effective rate. Now, if you notice, the more na binawas natin sa denominator, the higher the effective rate. Pansin nyo guys, ano highest na effective rate natin? 13.63%. Kasi mas kokonti lang yung pera na pwede nating gamitin. The net usable funds is much lower with the same financing cost. Ibig sabihin nun, mas mataas ang effective rate mo. Guys, pansinin yung behavior niya ha. 13.63. Ayan, lower na. Ayan, mas mababa pa rin. Pinakamababa. Effective rate is na equal to the nominal rate. Now, ang hindi ko pa pinilesen sa inyo is, what if may existing deposit for the compensating balance? Diba? Ilan ang compensating balance? 8,000 dapat. What if meron ka existing deposit na 5,000? What will happen? Diba? Meron pa isa. What if yung compensating balance sobra naman? What if 10,000? What will happen? O, ibang kwento na naman yon. O, iba na naman. Meron pa isa guys. Di ba kanina, ano given dito? Di ba principal ang binigay dito? What if ang binigay sa atin, net proceeds yan? What do you do? Pag net proceeds yan guys, magre-reconstruct ka pa. Magko-compute ka pa ng principal amount. From the principal amount, then you can now compute for the effective rate. Okay? Pero yun nga lang, kasi 2 hours lang tayo, di ba? Sobra na pati. Hindi ko ma-present sa inyo kasi medyo kakain na naman ng oras yon. Anyway, at least alam mo yung na meron pang mas mahirap sa pine-present ko sa inyo. Meron pa. May mas malalim pa dyan. The cost of installment loans. Guys, ang cost of installment loans, formula naman to. Effective rate, nominal effective rate is 2 times number of installments times interest divided by 1 plus number of installments times principal. For both CMA and CPA exams, nakita ko to. For both CMA and CPA exams. Okay guys, simple examples na lang. BMC Corp entered the 1-year loan with the following terms. Principal, 100. Nominal rate, 12%. Settlement on installment basis. Compute for the effective interest under the following assumptions. Monthly. Guys, pag monthly, substitute lang 2 times number of payments, which is 12, kasi monthly. Saan galing tong 12,000 na yan? 12,000 is 12%. Times 100,000. Di ba on the nominal rate, sabi niya? Kaya 12,000. Divided by 1 plus number of payments multiplied with the principal. Ito yon. Kaya pag sinimplify natin, 22.15%. Now, let me compare lang sa quarterly. Pag quarterly, di ba apat? Apat. Kasi there are 4 quarters in a year. Ito naman kaya 1 time plus 4. Ang gusto kong makita nyo dito is, gusto kong tignan ninyo, yung effective rate na na-compute natin. Kasi nandito yung analysis. Notice, pag monthly, mas mataas ang effective rate. Pag quarterly, mas mababa. Mas mababa lalo pag semi-annual. Why? What's the logic behind? Guys, logic and common sense. Pag monthly kasi, kabibigay pa lang sa'yo yung pera, 30 days ang lumipas, binabalik mo na sa kanya. Ibig sabihin nun, the number of days na nagamit mo yung pera was limited. Ilang araw lang na ginamit mo, unti-unti mo nang binabayaran. What happens to your financing cost? Tumataas. Tumataas yan because yung net usable funds mo, the period that you can use the funds is very short period of time. In contrast, pag example quarterly, naghintay ka pa ng 3 months bago first payment, installment payment, the period that you can use the money is longer. Since mas mahaba yun, what happens to the effective rate? Effective rate will become a little bit lower. Okay? Guys, concepts ha. Very important ng concepts. Yan yun. Yun ang mahirap sa theories. Kaya lagi nilang sinasabi, ang hirap-hirap ng theories ng MAS. Alam niyo kung bakit? Kasi ang tinatanong, yung concept behind the computation. Pag compute kasi, dali-dali mag-compute eh. Ang question, alam mo ba? Yung interpretation ng kinompute mo. Alam mo ba kung paano gamitin yung kinompute mo? That's the board exams. Which is, pag ikaw management ka, pag nasa management level ka na, yun ang ginagawa. Mag-interpret ng kinompute na accountant mo. Kaya dapat marunong tayo. Puro concepts to. Now, guys, if you notice na naman, what if naging 2 years? O, 2-year loan na siya. Kanina, di ba, 1 year lang? 2-year loan. Pero naging, pareho pa rin naman. Pero how many, ilan na to? 2. Okay, sorry guys, this should not be 25. That should be 24. Okay, sorry guys, that should be 24. Ayan, nagkamali lang sa encoding. So 2 times 24 times 12,000. Let me check nga, baka 2 times 24 times 12,000. Memory plus 576. Okay, tapos 26 times 100,000. 2.6 million. Memory recall divided by, okay, sorry. 2 times 24 times, ito na lang. Saglit lang compute lang natin para sigurado yung sagot natin. Ayan, memory plus. Memory plus. Tapos, we have 2 times 24 times 12,000. Yun, divided by memory recall. That is 22.15. Guys, sorry, mali ito. That should be 22.15%. Okay? Anyway, that's only what? Ang importante again, guys, is yung concept na naman. Pansinin nyo ha, monthly yan, pero 2 years. Ito, 1 year. Monthly 1 year, 22.15. 23.08. Napakalapit, di ba? Napakalapit. Bakit? Ang kino-compute kasi natin dito, guys, is we are computing for, that's 22.15. Monthly, 2 years, 22.15. Di pala napakalapit. It's exactly the same. Pansin nyo, pansin. Monthly, 1 year, 22.15. 2 years, monthly, 22.15 pa rin. It should be the same. Why? Ano tong kinocompute natin na effective interest? Ang effective interest kasi is computed based on a per annum basis. Kaya kahit bigyan ka ng 2 years na duration na installment period, ano pa rin dapat yung compute natin na effective rate? Still the same for good for 1 year pa rin. So guys, pansinin nyo yun ha. Concepts yan. Concepts. Importante. So yun siya. Okay? Now, let's make it more complicated na naman. What if installment loan with compensating balance? Babalik tayo sa concept na ang denominator natin should be the net proceeds. Recompute effective interest assuming loan requires compensating balance of 8% of principal as of monthly payments. Guys, ito yung magiging effect niya. Nabawasan ang denominator. Diba ang concept kasi natin, denominator is always the net proceeds. Kaya 100,000 minus 8%, the compensating balance requirement. Ito siya. Kaya if you notice guys, magkano? 24.08%. I-compare mo kanina, di ba 22.15? Mas mataas ang financing cost natin ngayon. Bakit? Kasi nabawasan ang net usable funds mo. Yun ulit yung principle niya. Okay? So I hope yung mga subtle changes, guys, yung mga subtle changes na ganyan, yan ang mga board exam questions. Alam mo dapat yung mga behaviors. Okay? Next, another example. Ano to? Term loan naman to. California, Texas arranged 10 million revolving credit agreement with group of small banks. Firm paid annual commitment fee. Oh guys, ito tinatawag natin na revolving credit agreement. So, take advantage guys sa bihirang-bihirang discussion nito. With a group of small banks, firm paid annual commitment fee of 1/2 of 1% of unused portion of the loan and 10.5 annual simple interest. Guys, ito naman yung dalawa. Ang financing cost mo. There's financing cost on the borrowed portion. There's financing cost on the unborrowed or the unused portion. Yan ang concept ng revolving credit agreement. Up to 10 million na pwede mong utangin any time of the year. Pwede ka umutang ng 6 million. Yung 6 million subject to 10.5 tax. Ito, 6 million. 10.5% interest, I mean. Yung 4 million na hindi mo inutang subject to what? Commitment fee of 1/2 of 1%. Yun ang kabaliktaran nun. Dalawa ang financing cost mo for revolving credit agreements. Guys, bihirang-bihira talaga discussion nito. Compute for the total financing cost of the loan. Guys, ito siya. Effective interest on the borrowing is 650,000 over 6 million. Okay, guys, saan nanggaling tong 650 na to? Guys, yung 650 na yan. Okay, so, eto muna. On interest, ano? Effective interest on the borrowing is 650,000 over 6 million. So guys, ganito. Parang may kulang Okay, so that's 6 million. 6 million times 0.0 times 0.105 is 630,000. Okay guys, 630 ha. So ito, pag minultiply natin yan, that is 630,000. That is the financing cost on the interest. Now, meron kang 4 million. 4 million unborrowed funds. Multiply mo siya sa 1/2 of 1% will give us 20,000. 20,000 commitment fee is part of your financing cost. Kaya 20,000 plus 630 will give us what? Kaya siya naging 650. Yun ang bago sa revolving credit agreement. Net proceeds ng inutang mo 6 million. Therefore, that should be what? Effective rate 10.83%. Okay? Next, commercial paper naman tayo. Okay guys, malapit na to. Di ba kanina ako nagsasabi malapit na. Ayan, mga tatlo siguro, meron pa tayong receivables at saka ano na to? Inventories na lang. Okay. Anyway, Sabado naman ngayon, di ba? Take advantage of what I'm teaching you. Cost of commercial paper, discount plus flotation cost over issue price. Guys, what is flotation cost? Ang flotation cost is better known as synonymous to stock issue cost, synonymous to spread. Maraming pangalan yan. Sa financial management, we call it as flotation cost, we call it as spread. Sa financial accounting, ang tawag nyo sa kanya, issue cost. Pwedeng stock issue cost, bond issue cost, or anything na pinang-issue mo divided by the issue price. Annualized financing cost ulit to. Pag ano tong discount na to? Ang commercial paper kasi guys is only sold at a discount. It is never sold at a premium considering yung maturity period niya. Never. So puro discount to. Bihirang-bihira yan. Pag it is, tapos kadalasan non-interest bearing pa. Bihirang-bihira ang commercial paper na interest bearing. Kasi kadalasan sold at a discount na to. The reason kung bakit may bumibili ng commercial paper is sigurado na yung earnings na investor, which is equal to the discount at a certain period of time. Sigurado na. The risk is very low pagdating sa commercial paper. Sample, okay. SMC Corp issued a commercial paper with the following details. Face value 1,000, issue price 920. Big sabihin na there's a discount of 80 na discount. Term 120 days lang. Compute for the effective rate. Guys, eto yung financing cost mo. Diba? Ano sabi? What is the treatment of discount? Discount amortization is treated as interest expense. Tama? Kaya ito yung financing cost mo. Tapos logic, inisyo mo siya at 920. After 120 days, magkano babayaran mo? 1,000. Effectively, napagasto ka ng 80 pesos. That's your financing cost. Okay, so ganito lang yon. That's 80 divided by 920. Bakit 920? Because that's already your net proceeds. Okay, that's it. Times 360 over 120 will give us 26.09%. Ito na yung kanyang effective rate. With 10 peso flotation cost, guys, ang flotation cost is again financing cost ulit yun. Ito yung concern natin sa flotation. Observe again. Part na siya ng financing cost mo. Ano pa? Deduction pa siya sa net proceeds. Why? Because flotation cost is a cash outflow. Spread nga, di ba? Kung minsan spread. It's the difference between the issue price and the net proceeds. Spread. Ito yon, minus 10 pa siya. Kapag minus 10, sorry, dapat nandun si 120. Okay, annualized financing cost, 29.67%. Again, pansin nyo, mas mataas na naman siya. Why? Kasi mas mataas ang financing cost, mas mababa pa ang net usable funds mo. Okay? Kaya mas mataas yung effective rate niya. Letter B, bihirang mangyari ito guys. May 6% na nominal rate. Itong nominal rate, good for 1 year na naman to. So what happens? Di ba 1,000 ang face value times 6% times 120 over 360, meron siyang interest of 20. Interest expense mo yun. So ito na ulit siya, 80. That is the discount plus the interest on nominal rate over net proceeds of 920. Now baka nagtataka, sir, bakit hindi natin binawas tong 20 na to? Kasi pag binawas mo yan, discount na yan. Hindi na yan hindi na siya interest on the nominal rate. Added discount na naman pag binawas mo to. 900 ang net proceeds mo. Okay? Kaya hindi na natin binawas yan. Kasi nominal rate lang naman. And what if with 10 peso flotation cost and 6% nominal rate, kinombine na, what happens? Ang taas ng financing cost mo, bumagsak pa net proceeds. Look at your effective rate. Ang taas na. Yan, taas na. Ayun. Bakit ang taas? Because yun na yung dalawang factors. Very high financing cost, mababa na rin yung net proceeds natin. That's commercial papers. Next, secured sources. Dalawang situation na lang to, patapos na tayo. Always go back to the principle. Effective rate is always the financing cost over net proceeds times annualized financing cost. Laging yan ang babalikan niya. Okay, simple example, receivables. XYZ company assigned 700 of accounts receivable to First Bank under non-notification arrangement. First Bank advances 80%, less service charge of 2% service charge. XYZ company signed 120-day promissory note that provides for interest of 12% on the unpaid loan balance. Compute for the amount of the loan and compute for the effective rate. Okay? So guys, ganito yan. Apply your skills in financial accounting. Okay, get the net proceeds. Receivables of 700. Percentage advance is 80%, yung accepted niya. Net of 2% service charge on the advance portion. Kaya magkano net proceeds natin? 548,400. Again guys, that is our net usable funds na naman yun. Yan ang pwede nating gastuhin. And this becomes your Ito yung denominator mo. Kasi siya yung net proceeds natin. So take note guys ha, etong 11,200 na yan, which is bank service charge, is already part of your financing cost. Do not forget may interest ka pa. And yung interest mo is based on an amount that was forwarded by the bank to you. Basically, ang principal amount mo is the 560 times 12% interest per annum times 120 over 360. This is your total financing cost plus the bank service charge of 11,200 divided by the net proceeds net usable funds of 5,488,800 becomes what? And annualized financing cost pa siya 18.37%. Yan ang challenging. Guys, sa totoo lang, sa lahat ng mga short-term sources of financing natin, ang pinakamahirap is always receivable financing. Ito, depende yan sa agreement ng lending company at saka kung magkano yung advance niya. Simple pa nga yung binigay ko eh, wala pang factors holdback to, di ba? May iba, may transactions fees pa, may admin fee pa. Wala pa yun. Okay, so meron pang mas challenging na problems related to this. And next, inventory financing. Okay, last na to. The average supply company is considering obtaining a loan from a sales finance company secured by inventories under a field warehouse arrangement. Avril would be permitted to borrow up to 500,000 under such an arrangement at an annual interest rate of 10%. Guys, yan na naman yung financing cost mo. Kaya nung sabi ko sa kanina, depende sa source of financing magiging financing cost natin. Additional cost of maintaining a field warehouse is 15,000, guys. Pag hindi ka umutang, you will not incur the 15,000. Ibig sabihin nun, what is 15,000? That will form, rental lang yan that will form part of your financing cost kasi related sa inutang mo. You will not pay 15 if you did not borrow money. Avril borrowed 400,000 during the year. Compute for the financing cost of the loan. Okay, compute for the effective rate. So guys, eto lang yon. Ang financing cost niya is the interest on the borrowed funds of 400,000 at 10% per annum. That should be 40,000. Plus yung rental na 15,000. Total financing cost is 55,000. Ito yung bago sa situation na to. And go back to basic. 55,000 divided by 400,000, 13.75%. Depende na naman pag may compensating balance requirement, tama? Pag may compensating balance requirement, yan na nagagawin natin. Ibawas mo ulit yung compensating balance requirement sa net proceeds. Ibang computation na naman yon. Okay? So guys, that is what? Yan ang puro sources ng short-term financing. So let me recap. Okay, last na to. So to recap everything na ginawa natin yung gabing ito, so first and foremost, it is management of the cash, receivables, inventories, and marketable equity security. Ang summary lang nun is, ang number one concern ni financial manager is the trade-off between liquidity and profitability. Kailangan natin ng cash to sustain operations. Pero we have to put our money in inventories and receivables para meron tayong operating cycle. Pag walang operating cycle, walang profitability. Pero yun nga lang, kailangan mo rin ng cash. Binabalance mong liquidity and profitability. So how do you do that? It's a matter of professional judgment. It's a matter of dependent on the nature of your operations. And eventually in the future, pag nasa trabaho ka na, ikaw na yung decision maker. Nakasalalay na sa'yo ano ang gagawin mo. Binabalance mong liquidity, profitability, and the associated risk. Okay? Ang binigay ko lang sa iyo ngayong araw na to, I gave you the tools on what to do. I gave you how to interpret them. But eventually in the future, ikaw nagagamit nun. Pagdating naman sa short-term sources of financing, always go back to your basic. Ano pinaka-basic natin doon? Ang pinaka-basic natin doon is ang numerator mo pag effective rate. Numerator is always what? The financing cost. Ang financing cost natin is always highly dependent on the source of financing. Depende. Ang denominator mo is always the net proceeds. Ang net proceeds mo na naman, depende na naman sa source of financing mo yun. So kailangan natin mag-analyze. Again guys, as stated earlier, yung mga short-term financing na binigay ko sa inyo, madali pa yung mga yon. Meron pang mas malalim na analysis ang short-term financing. Considering our time limitations kasi in fact, sobra-sobra na tayo sa oras. Pero wala naman problema doon. Walang problema doon. Importante natuto kayo ngayong araw na to. Okay, so guys, that is what? That is the webinar. That's a webinar on working capital management, including the short-term sources of financing. For both CPA and CMA exams, yun ang pinaka-concepts, basic concepts na kailangan natin para mag-survive tayo sa CPA board exam and the CMA exams. And mind you guys, mas madali pa ang CMA exams kesa sa CPA board exam questions. Yung mga prepare ko na pang-practice sana natin, I prepared almost 50 plus questions pero since wala kasi tayong oras most of them are CMA exams. Makita mo doon, puro basic lang talaga. Okay, so guys, thank you Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for attending our session. So ang hangarin namin sa Rio is isa lang naman ang purpose namin is to help you pass the CPA board exam. Pag hindi man yung CPA board exam, tutulungan namin kayo for the CMA exams. So sa lahat ng kakayahan namin, ibigay namin sa inyo for the betterment of your future. So for the betterment of our country na rin, considering what is happening now. So again guys, we will become kayo magiging leaders natin sa future. So I hope pag kayo na yung leaders natin sa future, maganda na ang patakbo natin dito sa Pilipinas. Na hindi na tayo kinukutsa ng presidente natin, na alam naman natin yung nature ng work na accountants, na sana maintindihan nila na ginagawa natin yung mga trabaho natin in best of our abilities. And that is what we're training you to become, guys. We're training you to become very good accountants, very good professions in the chosen field of accounting. Okay, so guys, thank you. Thank you very much. And that's it for me. Again, I will see you in the future. Again, welcome, guys. I'm monitoring your responses. Again, thank you very much for this opportunity that you gave us. Okay, again, good night and stay safe, everybody. So again, enjoy the holidays, Enjoy the holidays. Stay safe and healthy. Regards. Give my regards to your family and have a good night and have a good rest. Thank you.